Hello and welcome to episode 10 of The Brain Jar. You never thought that it would return, but some things are inevitable, and podcasts after the major, even if it is a little while after the major, are also inevitable. We've got a selection of co-hosts for you today. Of course, the main host, me, backpackbrain. I'm always here whether you like it or not, but we've got Morizon. Hello, Morizon.
Hello.
Yes, resident, the only European representation that we have in this podcast, actually. So, you're the only reason that we're not on Fraud Watch right now in a Counter-Strike sense. And we have Baller as well, a returning experience.
I was supposed to be on the last one, and then I overslept, so I made up for it today. Also, the American representative here, so I love her.
Yes. I mean, we got the time zones are like going all around the world here. So it's a miracle that we got it to work in the first place in that perspective. And we also have Yosh. Hello, Yosh.
Hello, I just got out of the store and I completely forgot I was supposed to be here today, so
Yes,
I kind of
exactly.
just rushed out of the room to do this.
It's like 2012, 2013 CS teams just showing up and playing. So this pod, we've pivoted from the previous sort of overly contrived mathematical 90% format, which I thought it had potential. I'll rework it someday. But post major, I think it makes the most sense to just go through each stage of the major, and we're talking about the winners and the losers. And I'll start off, of course, with the first stage of the major with a little bit of a curveball, especially considering recent Rostermania. Well, it's not much of a mania, I'm going to be honest. It's kind of a roster whimper. But
It was okay. It was better than last season.
that's true. I mean, we've had some very underwhelming roster moves recently. But I want to
Sure.
talk about a winner for losing in a counterintuitive sense. I want to talk about Heroic. I think Heroic at the major, people probably expected them to do a little bit better than they did. But
Yeah,
the
I
way
had them going through stage two.
Yeah. But the way that they sort of lost, I think really made sure that they made roster moves. And to be honest, I think that current roster looks a lot better than the one that they entered the major with. So I think them losing in the first stage of the major actually is just a bit of a mercy killing of like a failed experiment, young star orping nonsense. And
Yes.
listen, Alcarin, I don't know what's up with his documentation.
Visa issues. Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think about the Heroic old and new?
I'll let Morizon speak first.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think a decent major would have saved this heroic roster anyways, because under the radar, the youngster opping experiment had pivoted from being a surprising success to the expected failure like already months ago. He had like IGL tier stats for the whole last 3 months. But definitely the failing the major this badly did speed the whole thing up. And yeah, obviously youngster opping couldn't ever work long term. And honestly, I thought after this major, the whole roster would just collapse. But now that they've got Martinez and Brolin on their team, the roster does look way better than I expected it would ever look. And I think that roster can like scrape the bottom of the invite tier if everything goes well. So Heroic looked expectedly bad at the major, but I'm also surprised at how well their roster turned out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Josh,
just
you want to go next, or you want me to continue? Sorry. So, no, my bad. My bad.
I don't much to say about Heroic.
yeah. I mean, listen, Yosh will have a lot to say about certain teams that we're gonna be talking about. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
Me and
Team
Yosh are
brand,
we're gonna have some bones to pick with some Asian representation. But
Sure.
talking about, I mean, Brolin move specifically, that one's the most recent one. I mean, Heroic has sort of been drip feeding us these roster up and down moves. But
Yeah.
I think Brolin is, on some level, people were saying stuff like, this is sort of an unexpected get that Brolin was sort of a pretty high stock player relative to Heroic. But I think it's actually just a straightforwardly good match, especially when you're considering that Brolin is pivoting off of IGL. Because people have been like understandably saying like, okay, he's sort of only half IGLing and it should be an easy return back to form. But like we've historically seen players really struggle off IGL.
Yeah, it takes
and
a while to get out of that.
Exactly. So I think seems to me like a perfect sort of situation, like a match for both the team and the player in this situation, especially because I haven't seen. I don't know if I've seen enough out of. Is it Kristen the IGL right? It was from
Chris,
MOUZ
yeah.
Academy,
yeah, he's
right?
Danish Hydro. Yes.
I don't
He also was
still.
an OG as well for a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
He
don't
got to a
know.
major with OG.
That's true. I don't. OG is blocked from my memory for years now. I don't remember a
Yeah.
single thing about them. Cadians on that now. That's enough to me. But
Yep.
it's I don't know. Does anyone else have anything concrete about this IGL? Because to me, I just haven't seen enough yet. But like a young
As
IGL, you
someone
give
who
time.
does watch a bit of Tier 2 Europe, I can validate that Chris, I think, is a pretty decent caller. First of all, I actually liked when they got rid of LNZ, because LNZ sucks as a caller. I never liked LNZ that much. He felt way too selfish as a caller, personally. Like, at least in MIBR, he's a bit too selfish, in my opinion. My favorite IGLs like Alexi, Kerrigan. I'm more of a hooks defender than most, for example. I like IGLs who want to let the stars be stars. Like I never liked the really greedy, selfish IGLs. Like I never loved Krabani that much. I respect his fragging. It's cool to have, but like I'd rather have Demon be a star than Krabani in theory if we're gonna have like a realistic universe. But that's not the point, right?
Yeah.
The thing about Christian is like he sometimes will take the right spots if no one wants to take them, but he's willing to let the stars be stars. My issue with Rook beyond the youngster issue is like I thought Nilo would develop a bit faster. Like he's still good, but I thought he would be like an absolute monster. Like his potential is insane, right? And the thing about X-File is that he's one of those erratic players I've ever seen who's like clearly a good player. X-File's so up and down. It's actually like, you know what I mean? Backpackbrain was so up and down. Like you can't tell, you know, like game we got 30 and game we got 13. And you don't know which
It's
player.
the eye test is disconnected from his like output.
Yeah, his eye test is really good. I think he's the best Turkish player, like eye test wise.
Well, I mean, Zantara still looks very good, but
sometimes, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But the point, Martinez is better than Alcaran. Alcaran was always pretty average. Martinez was actually like a shining light in that Gentleman's team, because him and South Soul were like had to play like God mode Counter-Strike to sometimes win games.
Yes.
Like Martinez was really good. I
remember that.
People will think, oh, he's not that great because he's playing bad teams. But Martinez, when he played good opponents, he would still fry. Like he played FURIA Asana, played very well. He played Vitali last year with a beat Vitali. He played very well. I was out frying Zai at some points in the series, right?
Yes.
And so I know Martinez has got that, right? Brolin, the thing with Brolin is there was never a point besides maybe his end period in NIP where he was playing off roles where I thought he looked like a bad player. Like early in the first joined, he looked really good. First like 6 months or so, and then they had like no op because Rez was forced to op, and that team looked weird. You know what I'm talking about? And then he was like forced into weird roles because they had like Config and Rez taking his positions. Then the mouse proved that he was good as a player before he was that Joe. He was like a pretty good third star, fourth star.
He just sort of did it sort of out of inertia. Really, it felt like.
Yeah, like people thought he was done, bro. I thought he was done after NIP. We all thought he was done. Be honest.
Yes.
We all thought he was gonna go to like Ram Swedish team and play with like JW or something.
I mean, he was young, but like it's hard to predict a bounce back. You know, I tend to err on the side of players being done.
Yeah, same. Like we all thought Yukender was done. We thought Rez was done after NIP.
I believed in Yukender, to be clear.
but be honest, we all thought Rez was done after NIP.
Rez, yes.
No.
Well, no, not yet.
Definitely not.
I thought he would be more of a Rain figure. I didn't think he would still be good overall, but.
Yes, for sure. But the point is, like, Brolin, I know can be very good. My only issue with Heroic is I gotta see, Chris now has no excuses anymore. He had the issue of, like, I don't have an opera, and my star entry's up and down, and Nilo isn't like quite a star yet. Nilo has no excuses now, and Chris has no excuses.
We've judged better IGOs for worse players, I think. So we have to like
Heroic should be like the 90 bet boom just outside the top 10 tier. Like they're punching in the top 10 when like a G2 falls off, or like let's say the Roar experiment doesn't work early on. Let's say they have issues with the calling and like the comms and stuff. They should be nipping at the heels of like 10th to 12th rank, in my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, Morizon, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
That's what I said. Like the invite tier at the moment is top 12, and I think they should aim to be like in the bottom of that. Like on the Krisen front, I do give him a lot of credit for making this heroic roster work, this super scuffed roster at the start of the year.
Yeah, it could have been way worse. I agree.
And he also basically got OG their first major with a super shit roster. I do give this guy a lot of credit.
Player.
Like, I do give Krisen a lot of credit. I agree with LNZ being bad, although I think he's a good fit on MIBR being selfish because the rest of their players are fucking dog shit. So
No, not
It's
NKZ. No,
there.
NKZ is a good player.
Is NQZ back?
Well, yes, now, but they haven't played a
Yeah,
game
at
with
the
him yet,
time,
so
sure.
I was
Yeah, he
supposed
wasn't
to
there
give
They
yet.
played
the
this land.
previous roster.
They
Yeah.
played this land. Sure.
Oh, that's
I know
true.
what
They
you mean.
did play
Yeah.
XC Pro League Guangzhou.
And they
Fair
ran into
enough.
9
They
the fifth
did?
game and they lost.
They
so.
did, yes.
And they got to the
Oh.
fifth game. Yeah, it was still.
Oh,
I tuned out of that event. I can't lie. So
So yeah, because the people getting their computers hacked. Fair enough.
yeah, fair enough. Like for the previous roster, LNZ was a decent color. I think
Yeah,
I
sure.
really rate Krisen on this heroic team. That's the main point. And
Yes.
like my hot take is because it's now been so long since we've seen Brolin in his original favorite Fnatic
role,
roles,
yeah.
Yeah.
that
Because
being
even in MOUZ,
playmaker.
he had to be like an aggro lurker, not an entry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he had to be the sort of Spinks lurky role at
yeah,
first,
he didn't look
then the
that comfortable
IGL,
anyway.
and his favorite roles are what he's gonna have now, those X-Flout playmaker
Yes.
roles. And my hot take is that he's gonna be better than X-Flout, because X-Flout
Yeah.
was for me also always an up and down player. Like he would either 30 bomb or he would bottom frag and lose the game. And I think Brolin's gonna be a bit more consistent than that. So I'm super high on this roster of heroic.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
I think this combination is gonna work. The only concern I have is the coach. I have like nothing
You
on,
don't believe on-
Doto as a coach.
He was the Hero
yeah.
Academy coach. I know they beat M80 on LAN. Like before,
I mean-
like, remember they beat M80 randomly?
as
Oh, he
accomplishments
was the
though.
coach of Heroic Academy? Okay, so he has
Yeah.
some coaching experience. I didn't
Yes.
see him as a coach before at all.
Yeah, I mean, coaches are hard to find anyway these days, and like good ones. It's hard to know in the first place, let alone find them. So you sort of
Yeah.
have to like take the opportunities when they arise. So any experience is better at this point. I mean, unless you want to start picking up retired IGLs again. But I think this is
that's a decent gamble then.
yeah, this is the time where we move on to some sadness. Yosh, I think you and I have got some grievances, and I'm just gonna say Lynn Vision to me, like in this first stage of the major, they should have made it through. Even people who don't really like Asian teams and Asian CS were probably like, well, they may not even have put Lynn Vision to go through, but they probably didn't put them 0-3, which they didn't get. But
Yeah.
people don't hate Lynn Vision in terms of output. Because this team has actually been together for like one of the longest teams has been together in
No,
this
it's
sort of
crazy.
day
I
and
think the
age.
core four of this team has been around since like
Yes, I had the
23.
I had the Liquipedia up on that first. So let me put
I know
that.
they had the four of these players with G and like
Yes.
Lacey.
So Komisu joined February 2025, but before that, Starry joined December 2024. And then the rest of these guys have been together since 2023. Like, it's...
But even then, Starry was there before.
Yeah, it was like there was a back and forth going on at that
point.
point, yes.
And they're like flying in a fufu, and those guys were terrible. But we can ignore that.
Yes. But it was just...
generally, yeah.
My problem with, and I'll let Yosh speak on this more, but like, I believe in a lot of the like 3 pieces of this team that I truly do believe in is I believe in Zaka as an AWPer, I believe in Starry as a star, and I believe still in Gum as a coach, right? But the problem is I just don't know, like, it feels impossible to expect anything from the rest of these guys. Like Wes Mellon to me, like I haven't seen any like media at all from him or like anything at all. Like to me, Gum is basically like puppeteering, is blading like Wes Mellon in a way. But I know Wes Mellon's been around for a long time, so I should expect something from him, right? Amelia is just the personality. Like you can't count on Amelia for anything. If he has a good map, it's like, you know, you've gambled and won correctly, but it's not like a predictable outcome at all. And Komisu, I think, I mean, like, he's not in great spots to do very well, but at the same time, he also has a tendency to just, like, in important matches, he will just drop 4 kills. Like, it's dreadful. And, like, I expect more for a roster that's been around this time. And my biggest problem, even after that, is the fact that I don't see a reason or a way for it to get better. Like, if it's I feel like it's just gonna get worse. Yosh, what is your Lynn Vision takes?
Oh, okay. Before I say anything, I just want to clarify that I really have been trying to remove the major from my head. So don't be surprised if some of the claims I made might be like inaccurate.
That's fine.
But I actually think LBG it isn't one of the worst teams of the major. They did somewhat decently, especially
Yeah, they didn't do bad.
considering- Yeah, they just had bad draws and like they were in a bad form this season.
I mean,
Yeah.
bad
So, like,
draw, but
I
they
don't-
MAD, Heroic, Sharks, MIBR, TYLOO. They should be between M80, MIBR, like TYLOO. Maybe like you can put the domestic like aura on it, but I think they should be beating either M80. I mean, best of one M80 or MIBR. Not at least not O2. Like
They like didn't even have a chance against MIBR.
Yeah, they got
I remember
annihilated.
that
It was crazy. Like
Yeah.
Insani farmed them. It was crazy.
yeah,
You guys gonna speak or want me to speak?
No. Okay. But yeah, LBG. Okay, they faced M80. They lost. Oh, I still think BO1s are stupid. So
yeah.
Agree.
If we talk about the format,
fuck
we'll be here
Cleveland.
all day.
But, yeah, but they could have done better. They definitely could have done better. I'm not like absolving them of all blame, but like they could have.
Uh-huh.
But okay,
Like,
well, what
just
do you
being
think
better
that there's
form, have a
they're
total
gonna do
mentality.
better in the future? That's my problem. I don't know if I can ever expect them to do anything again. Like,
Oh, okay, the thing, I not really. Not really. I don't really have much expectation for Lynn Vision.
yeah, exactly. And that I feel like that to me is the most heartbreaking thing. Like the like for a moment there, like I don't know when it was, but certainly like months, if not a year or so ago, there was a moment where you could see like both TYLOO and Lynn Vision were competing, but both were actually like getting better. And there was like a small window where you could have seen like TYLOO, Lynn Vision, and MongolZ. I forget Australia, fuck us. But like you could have seen them actually like be at the bottom fringe and have all of them have punches, chances or upsets, and something interesting could have happened. I'm just sort of mourning the lack of anything. Like it feels like it's dead now. That's one of
Yeah,
my
that was
problems.
almost
Okay,
exactly
yeah.
a year ago. That was Austin Major
Yes.
when they
Yeah,
all
that-
did well.
Yeah.
It was more like during EWC and Fisher Playground.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
during
yeah.
those.
Yeah,
There was
even
like-
beyond that, yeah, they definitely look like there was a good
Right,
one.
right after that as well. Yeah,
A few months
Those-
of like hope.
We're only talking about stage one now, right?
Yeah, we'll move on later. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna keep this brief. Like,
Yes, save the power.
I'm the two teams I'm not really pissed at this major are like LBG and Thunder Down Under. Despite
mean,
them
yeah.
being the two
Sure.
worst
I'll
performing teams.
I'll give you a brief just a short bit on Thunder Down Under because I don't have that much to say on them here because they're like
They
neither
beat
good.
MIBR, they lost to Big, they lost to Bait in close fashion, and they lost to FlyQuest 2-0.
Yeah, like but also those guys are like part timers basically. Dexter clocks out of a 9 to 5 and
they're
plays
plumbers,
CS
bro.
at 6. Like the fact that they even were punching
Yeah.
anywhere near these teams is like embarrassing for those teams and
Yeah.
not like
They should have won that Bait game, bro. They choked so many
Yes.
ecos.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
realistically, I'm sorry. Realistically, they only ever had chances in the best of ones. Like,
yes.
and then
Agreed.
the only best of 3 they played was against
They got
FlyQuest.
smashed.
The other. Yeah, and it was against FlyQuest, the other shitter Australian team. So, like, yes, okay, it's cool that they won a best of 1 and almost won a second best of 1, but in the
Yeah.
end, they really only ever had a chance in best of 1. That's to be expected. The only reason they
Agreed,
were here in
yeah.
the first place is because FlyQuest decided to not attend an Australian LAN for literally no reason.
Well, that wouldn't make a difference because they both showed up. FlyQuest attending wouldn't.
Also, keep in mind,
Change
for
that.
most of the year, like, Story was in, like, Europe. I think Astralis was in Europe.
Yeah,
They couldn't
if
get
I
everyone
talk
in
about
Australia.
FlyQuest, I could talk about FlyQuest all year, but
Yeah.
like we might talk about it later because they made it through the stage for better and for worse.
All right, although briefly, like I'm mildly pissed at TYLOO, but also somewhat impressed. I'm mainly pissed at both FlyQuest and MongolZ.
Yes.
But
Oh
we'll
no,
get to
I
that
have,
when we get
I
to
am as well. But we'll get. I think.
yeah,
Does it,
I mean,
Yeah. Can I say my piece?
yeah. Go
or
on.
no?
Go on.
Okay. The thing about Lynn Vision is I'm gonna keep it edgy. I've never had faith in Lynn Vision. Even when I had the Austin run, even when they got like footage play on one would be like Pain in the best of 3, be 3 max, and look so sick for like 2 tournaments. And even looked like okay before heading into Austin, a couple like moments here and there, right? Maybe they could take like a map. They even remember when Zacher with the really bad lineup had that crazy Dust 2 game against NAVI like prime Navi, by the way, right? You remember it was like late 2024, I think. It was a Dust 2 overtake. And this is when Navi was really good on Dust 2, right? When they'd be like G2 every time on Dust 2, and Zach was up like 30 kills. You remember? You know, remembering? Or like,
Yes.
late
Maybe
2024.
was that a pro league or something? Could be.
It was Pro League. It was the opening round, if you remember. It was Pro League. It was like season 20, I believe.
Then I do remember, like he had that wasn't his only map at one
that
pro
whole lane
league.
he played amazing.
He genuinely was like looked
He played
like a
good
top
opponents.
5
He played like
opera
freaking.
for like
He played
one
FlyQuest in range. I think he played like
tournament.
Heroic. I think he played like Navi. He played like some good opponents. He played amazing, right? But that like even during that time, I never played Lynn for 3 small reasons. One, like Emilio had to play out of his mind to do anything at Austin. For him to get to stage 3, Emilio played the tournament of his life. Am I wrong about that?
No, yes, I agree.
You're
Emilio
right.
played the
You
tournament-
can't expect that
Emilio
kind of
never
output
played
from
that
him
good
ever.
before after. Emilio never played that good. Even in region, he rarely plays that good. Like he literally played like he was out fighting like Falcons players, bro. It was crazy.
It was ridiculous. Yes.
It was impossible. So when that's one of the reasons you got stage 3, I'm not talking about and you played out of mind and you got to like the 2-2 game or something like that, and you almost made playoffs. If that was the case, okay, maybe that's like max capacity, everything went well. To go to stage 3, it took that, right? Not a star player, by the way, right? Secondly, I've never had faith in Star as a main star. He's way too underwhelming in maps that aren't Dust 2.
I
Like,
agree that he's
he
underwhelming,
fries
though.
on
I
Dust
do
too.
agree that, like, for how good I think he is, he doesn't do as well
Yes.
as consistently, especially
like
international.
I made a joke about like there's like people still know that goddamn Vertigo game where he farmed
that was
G2
that
online.
G2 game. I mean, he was like a real rookie back then as well.
Yeah, but that's still his most memorable game to date. And he had that one ace against NRG in the overtime on Dust 2. Those are his 2 most memorable rounds, prove that he's had an underwhelming career relative to his actual skill level, which I agree. His eye test is great. He doesn't get kills on the scoreboard, though.
Yeah.
And the third thing that's always been true is beyond Austin, Lynn Vision had a pathetic map pool. They basically have like D2, and they used to play Train when it was available, and that's literally it. They always had like 2 maps at most. And like when you get to like even stage 1 teams have like 3 maps they can play.
Yeah.
Like Heroic, one of their wins is Heroic giving them the best map.
I
Like,
mean,
what are you
like,
talking
for
about?
a roster that's been around, like the long-standing rosters having weak Mac pools, like I don't even like. It's just like
That's a
doesn't
concern.
make sense,
Like,
right?
they've had this core 4 for like years. They've had this year for like 3+ years, and they have 2 maps they can play. Either tell me that Gum is messing up and it's like he's not helping them get routines on other maps, or Westmo is like the most fraud IGL ever, which is crazy because Mercury is worse. But that's a different discussion. We'll get to that later. So like I don't like. I tell me there's some rotten in that team that they're just selling for mediocrity.
I think that's
instead
what
of finding
concerns me the
someone new.
most. Like it's just broadly the prospect that it won't get better. But anyway, I think we'll
Yes.
move unless we've got any other.
There's one more.
Yeah, go on.
I have one more stage 1 point.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
Morizon?
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I also
go.
have one more stage 1 point. Yeah. There's another team I want to talk about in stage 1 that I believe messed everything up and turned the major into the nightmare, and it's the start, the domino that started the disaster that is the COLOGNE major. That's energy. How do you not close that?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we? The legendary comeback
Can
situation.
I make the first point? I'm North American. So
Yeah,
can I make
we
the
have
first
the
point?
representation right here actually.
Yes.
Yes. Here's the. I was watching that game because I was watching this series, right? Because I've been talking on Discord with my homie Schleim, right? We're both American. What happens is, okay, first match, Big destroys Dusty, right? Nuke, Big has match point, and then Energy like wake up and they win the game, right? Then they go to the
Yeah.
Mirage game. We actually joked about this because when Energy started CT, because you know anything about the Mirage meta the last couple months? Mirage has been like the most C-sided map on the lowest 2 keys, right? It's been like really CT-sided the last couple months.
Yeah,
The
I've
AG2
seen
up there around, I think, like
CT
April.
set comebacks.
Or
Yeah.
even before this major, like you saw, like the freaking a number of comebacks. We made the joke that Energy needs like 10 CT rounds to win this game. Before the game started, they need like 10. Because bro, you see these major, bro. The amount of times people get like 9-3 CT ends, mean like a 13-11 win. It's like, bro, it's really hard to win T rounds those maps because the reason why is when you break the smoke and con, you can't do B splits. Which means a whole bomb site is impossible because you can't just do an apps push. You get smoked off, and your flash is probably missed. So the apps player gets free kills, right? So you need to do the split to properly hit the B side, right? I mean, you basically have to just. That's why everyone does 4A nowadays. So that's like 3.5 A now, and they have like 1 B play, right?
I just pulled up the stats real quick. Like in top 20 in the last 3 months, Nuke is on 59.4% CT, and Mirage is just behind on 58.6% CT. Mirage is more CT sided in the top 20 in the last 3 months than Overpass.
I mean, that's
Yep,
that's
makes sense.
if you told that kind of thing to someone 10 years ago, they would think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Even if it was about 5 years ago, that's impossible. Even
That's
the
true.
M4A1 maybe probably
Even
wasn't that
2 years ago. Now that I
Yeah.
think about it.
Like, yeah, because I had that eye test too, so I had to quickly fact check it with the stats, and it is definitely
right?
true that
So we
Mirage
made the
is
joke, it
insanely
was my homie
CT-sided.
Slime, and one of the people in the talk counter scored to the APM, and he's like, bro, it's not that bad, bro. There's no map that's 10-2 half. I'm like, and when Energy choked 12 elite, we literally laughed and was like, bro, I told you it's not bad, bro. No one wins T rounds in this map. Like, that's my story about that. Yeah, NRG choking makes sense. I think Nitro is just done. Like, not even that he's a bad caller. I just think you need to try someone new. I know NA has no players, but you can't be relying on old players. And even was Nitro ever even close to the best IGL?
I mean,
Was it even close? Like,
it's
Oh,
really
only-
not really.
Only at the like 60 days liquid period, and that one was like the
Even
most
then it's
obvious
like,
period ever that wasn't because of IGLing, but because of individual
yes.
skill of the
The point
players.
is, I remember
and chemistry.
to understand how like not respected Nitro was until he literally retired the first time, if you remember, how not respected he was, even during his relative prime, like 2018, 2019. I remember Richard Lewis was doing like the No Majors Club for Catavis 2019, right? I think it was the challenger stage. He literally thought the best NIGL was Steel.
Or it might be he might have been right.
In
To be
2019 on
honest.
Ghost. What?
He might have been right even
and Nitro,
then.
who were on the two good NA teams. He's like, Steel's the best IGL.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like,
Could be.
This is this equivalent of imagine in like 2018, like CS when like the two best Danish IGLs were Kerrigan, Glaive, and like and probably MSL's third, right? Imagine someone say, "Oh no, the best Danish IGL is Snappy." Like no one will say that because people have eyes and like yeah, Glaive's better because he frags. Kerrigan wins tournaments, and MSL won that Stockholm event with 0-star players. Like they're clearly better, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay, not straight. He was the best NAIGL by far. Like. So like,
I mean,
why are you still
like
around?
if I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest, like Daps only went to coach because I don't know. Like I think he just got tired of getting in the mouse and keyboard. Like I don't think he was even in this day and age. He could probably still play if he wanted to. But
He'd probably be like
No,
Stan's
I
playing in
mean-
Europe right now.
Yeah, the thing with Daps was always that he did a decent job building those teams, and he was also a decent
Yes.
caller. But even
Yeah.
already like 5 or like almost 10 years ago, he was already
Yeah.
so terrible at fragging that he always then
Yes, he is real bad.
once the structure was built, then got replaced by an IGL who could hold a mouse. So like
By Stan twice, by the way. Stan
Yeah,
twice, by the way.
Stand twice, and it's I think if he could and if he had hands, Daps would still be playing today, but yeah, he has accepted that he has to coach because
Yeah.
of his skill set.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yosh, anything to say?
Yeah, I really like how you could really see when the moment NRG completely collapsed in real time. Because for the first 4 to 6 T rounds, you can see that NRG are still actually getting entries and are still landing six shots. I
Yes.
think like after the 2v1s they failed to convert, like the 2 times big clutch, that's when their mentality completely
Yeah.
collapsed. Like,
And keep in mind, the
that was
first 2 rounds, it was a 5-on-3 untraded.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third round of the comeback, bro. I mean, I remember every single fucking round of this comeback because I'm German and I'm a big fan. So, like, this was the best moment of the major
Yeah.
for me.
This is like cocaine crack for you.
Yeah. This comeback was like the only reason I even had stage 1 positive big noted down, because I think in general we
Yeah.
played a pretty
Yeah, they played bad. They
low
lost to
average
CL in like an
major.
ugly game. Yeah, it's bad.
Like
They
in
choked
general,
so hard against GL. They should have won both rounds against GL. They choked so hard in that series. I don't know how they lost that overpass game. They should have won that. That was bad.
in general, the problem with big at this major was that we spent this entire season at these tier 3 lands, and we basically had our season sort of built and roster built and
Yeah.
strat book built for these like tier 3 lands so that we could consistently shitstomp bad teams. And you could see that at this major, especially in stage 2, the strat book really, especially on T side, sort of reached its limit of what
I
type of
watched the
teams it
overpass
can
game where
beat.
they got farmed by Sizzy on A. I watched that.
Okay. Boom. This is a
Like
good segue
the
into
T side
stage
calling
2.
was just too bad.
But before
The
we,
T-
Can I one by 1 point for stage
Yeah,
1?
real
I was
quick.
gonna give one small
Yeah,
winner.
yeah.
That's actually the FlyQuest. FlyQuest had no business getting out of stage 1. I don't know how.
I
they
don't.
did.
I agree. I didn't put them out.
fraudulent. Like I
No. They earned it. No. FlyQuest earned that fair and square. They beat Sinners in overtime.
I mean, Sinners.
I didn't have a single person. No, Sinners are bad. I agree, but no one had FlyQuest winning a game. I had FlyQuest on.
Oh, they were definitely
I
gonna
didn't
win
have
a
them winning
game. They have like people are going.
I had FlyQuest 1 and 3. Like,
Yeah.
look, if you look at what happened here, Sinners choked literally every single game. They had like leads in every single game,
Yes,
lost
that's
every
true.
single game. So I don't
The
credit
TYLOO series, they
FlyQuest.
super choked.
I
They
don't
super choked against TYLOO.
I don't credit FlyQuest. I don't give FlyQuest too much credit for beating Sinners. Then their second
To
win.
be fair, FlyQuest threw against NRG. They should be NRG.
And the second win was against Thunder Down Under. Like,
They got
Yes.
given
They
they got
could've
given
taken
the
them. Win
freebies.
that
They got
game,
given all the
and
freebies.
yeah, and the third win was the
De-
total
yeah,
collapse
horrible
of
Liquid
Liquid,
team.
where they
No,
literally
yes.
didn't even have to do anything. Liquid would just run into them
Yes.
as
Yeah.
the most
Liquid played
uncoordinated way
I
possible.
watched that series. Liquid played bad, but also like even if Liquid played better, they would have lost anyway.
Yeah, but like, there was no
FlyQuest
better for
played-
Liquid.
yes,
I think is
Liquid
the
made it
important
easy,
point.
but FlyQuest actually would have won that even if Liquid played better. I watched
Yeah.
that whole series. They literally missed. You know that way they missed the pop flash and E-box. They just hit the crowd.
Yes. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I watched that game and I was really annoyed. Like, FlyQuest, I don't know, they were not one of the 8th best teams in the stage, but they got the perfect opponents at the perfect time to just about make it out and then get completely shit stomped the next
Yeah,
stage.
fair
I'm not
enough.
gonna
That's
accept this as a FlyQuest win.
No, I don't. I mean,
They
I,
literally were not supposed to win
I
a game.
don't-
I literally had MOUZ 3, bro.
They like locked out on every single opponent. They got
Yeah.
like
Sure.
Gaming Gladiators of Europe Sinners. They got
No, they
Underdog-
didn't get Game Gladiators. They didn't get Game Gladiators.
no, the
Yeah, I
Diamond
mean
Gladiators
Gladiators
of Europe.
No. Game Gladiators got like 9 total rounds. What are we talking about? Shut up.
Yeah,
Sinners
no,
are like the
no,
worst
Sinners just choked. They could have won like every single game they played. They just choked.
Bro, they should have
just
won the
choked
first round
every
against Tyler. They're
single
up like
game.
11-5 on CT Ancient against Tyler and they choke it. Like
I mean, if you
11-7
choke
or
every
something.
single game, saying you could have won starts becoming a bit empty. But I see your point is like
Sure,
technically.
but like
Yeah, and
Gaming Gladiators were
no,
never gonna win a game. They got stopped.
Yes, I
every
think
match.
Gaming Gladiators
Yeah.
is like outrageous for sure. But
Yeah, like Game and Gladiators and Sinners are not the same,
Okay,
even though
for
they
sure.
both
Let's
win
go to
all
stage 2
three.
then. Unless you have something else you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just they did the bare minimum that should be expected of them. And even
Yeah,
then,
fair
I
enough.
don't really think that's even the bare minimum. They should be doing way better than this, even in stage 1.
Do they?
yes,
The Falcons have no firepower.
that
They're like
I
one good player,
agree.
like-
But
Yeah.
anyway, I
They
think
have
this is a
one,
good
one good player. JKS, he's like decent. He's not that
Is-
like bro. Nedic is overrated. He's like
Nedic
mechanics. He has
is
no brain.
paper tiger. Yes, 100%. I think this is a good segue to
So
move
Paper
on
Tiger,
because FlyQuest.
Vex is mad all over the place.
Yeah,
We can-
I'll stop
Like,
everyone right there just so
they
we
have to
can
stay-
move on to the next stage because FlyQuest was
Sure.
in the next stage and that's where they lost, right? So just
Yeah.
Sure.
and also that's where
can
Big was and
transition
Big
that,
lost.
yeah.
So this is where like the conversations are most appropriately had. So I think we'll finish off on the Big and FlyQuest matters because I've got a Danish team to talk about after that. So.
Sure.
And I think just to round off the FlyQuest stuff, as someone who's been following the corpses of this team for literally like years and years, like every single match, every single round, like the amount of times I've stayed up for heartbreak is like endless, right? The FlyQuest is like they have at this point players like Inns, in my opinion, it does not. Like, he should not have ever been the IGO, and the only reason he ever was the
This is a
IGO
terrible caller.
is because Dexter got pulled into MOUZ at that time, right? That was the only reason it ever happened, and because no one
Sure.
else at the time
We
was
did the
able to
first time,
take it.
yes.
Yes, but this recent like back and forth that caused the Ins Dexter like split just didn't need to happen. I don't know, like there was disagreements. I think they just like didn't know what to do with that. But that disagreement just permanently killed, I think, Australian CS.
The
Because
problem here is, I agree they should have kept Dexter, even though Dexter's kind of a fraud IGL. He's at least an actual IGL. The problem is, and you know this, backpackbrain, when a team loses faith in IGL, you have to get rid of them. It doesn't matter how good they are.
I don't,
It
yeah,
doesn't
but
matter
there's
if, like,
there was
best IGL or
nobody
not.
else to put faith in. I don't think that's has to be a rule. I think
No, it doesn't matter. Even if, no, like for example, the reason why they have to get rid of Madger and Aurora, even though Madger actually had a good
they
last
didn't. But
season as a
Madger is
caller,
stepping down
they-
himself. I don't think they would get rid of him if
Sure,
if he
but
didn't
also,
step
like,
down.
Yeah.
I think the Aurora org knows like this team is gonna get better unless we get a new IGL. I think they knew that.
I
as
mean,
well.
I think
So,
I
or get a
agree,
different
but I
IGL.
don't think that they would have made the move because I think all the players would have said we're not kicking Major until Major wants to leave. And Major wanted to leave. He's
Sure,
been talking about
sure.
like work-life balance and burnout for like years. Like it was in the writing on the wall.
Sure,
Like, it was-
that's probably true. Yep.
yeah, but like
Damn.
just around, I mean, like they basically have in the first place, the FlyQuest organization bought this team on the Thorin advice that this would be a good guaranteed sticker payout, and they're right on that front, to be honest with you, right? Because they've even by doing literally nothing, they've managed to just keep scraping the bare minimum and stay on top of the regional rankings enough to keep getting invited. And I think that's probably not going to change because no matter what, the problem here is that the floor of this team cannot get lower than the floor of the region. It's not possible. JKS could not play a single match outside of officials, and they would still win every single game except maybe Thunder Down Under in home games. If they wanted to farm the
Yeah.
defrags, they would be able to do that. So like, they can't get better and they can't get worse. There's literally nowhere for this
Yeah.
team to go. So like, I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. After all this time, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Agree.
I think they could have been better than this if
Yes.
they played the game. Like I think Nedic is a decent talent, but how is he gonna improve?
They
if
just
he
need a
plays, like,
European
4
tutelage, but
tournaments
they
in a
don't
season?
hire. They don't hire like a European coach or even a European IGL, somebody with experience in real CS that has like just tells them how to do the things that they can do with the mouse and keyboard.
They need a better coach IGL combo, that's one, and they just need to also play tournaments. Like Nedic has played way too few tournaments for how long he's been on FlyQuest as a young player. He because of that he hasn't improved. JKS is still JKS. Vexite has been on this team forever and always been a paper tiger and a noob stomper.
Yep.
So
100%. Wow.
like, I don't have faith in Vexite. I don't have faith in Inns as a caller, but like Nedic could clearly be better. They could get a better European opera so they can play tournaments.
Can they?
I'm most mad at FlyQuest for how they just didn't play the game, and
Yes,
because of that just got
100%.
worse over time.
At this point, I
Yep.
would just send ultimate there. Like, what are we? I don't know. What else are we gonna do with it? Like, anyway, let's move on. Do you have any final thoughts and comments about Big? This is the end of the Big conversation. Oh, wait, no, they do actually go on to the next stage. I forgot about that. So you can save it for then if you want.
No,
Yeah.
No, they went
did
2-3.
lose.
They lost.
Oh no,
They
I'm
did
looking at the
lose
old
2-3
stage. Okay,
in-
yeah.
in stage.
I
in
was
stage 2,
wondering.
yeah.
I was like,
So
my memory's wrong.
I already said before quickly that the biggest problem at this major was the T side. The other big problem was Grix choked a lot. Like this was his biggest tournament ever so far. He's still very young, and
Yeah.
he choked as an opper, and then like the T sides were just like too bad. And I think it's good that this roster is staying together, because if they can use the player break, they're doing a delayed player break after the China LAN, and they're skipping Blast Bounty and stuff like that. If they can use that to make a better T-side playbook, then I think this team can also be like at the bottom tier of Invite, where we put Heroic, because this team has far from reached its ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, in the first
Like-
place, the team was like, as I understand it, they didn't expect to make this major this quickly. Like, they were sort of trying to
Yes.
ramp up, but the success they had, they realized like halfway through, they were like, wait, we can actually do this if we try like
Yeah, they
push
started at rank
ourselves.
90.
Yeah, so from that perspective, I think people forgot that and then looked at the names, because these are names that people know. People know Taps and people know Blamef, and so like people have a
Yeah.
higher expectation of them than I think they should have had from prior, knowing where the team even came from. So from that perspective, yeah.
Even with these flaws, it still was entirely possible. Like, they were on the map 3 against Bait, they were up like 6-1. Like, they still
6-0, I
could have
Yeah.
they still could have made stage 3 if they had closed that game. And stage 3 they would have gone 0-3 or 1-3 or whatever, but they, even with these obvious flaws that still can be fixed, like, you can make a better T-side playbook. Griggs can stop choking since he's still very young. They were still like in all these games, so I expect
Generally, yeah.
I expect good things from Big
Not
next
the
season.
GT series. The GT
and-
series they got spawned.
Yeah, that for sure. But like as a fan, this is a rare good period for me as a big fan.
Yeah, times not seen
Okay,
since
also
Online's
my
on Terror.
thoughts quick. I'll just say my quick thoughts on Big. I don't have too much to say.
Yeah.
For the two reasons why I have no faith in Big long term, it can be short term when the teams are like, oh, Heroics figure out the roster, and all the teams around the bottom of the invite range, maybe even teams like just below it, like say Paravision or Astralis, or like just outside the range, are figuring out the roster because Astralis have a new coach, Paravision have 2 new players, GL are clearly in a bad run form. We'll talk about them later. I think the problem with Big is 2-1. I've seen Blamef as a caller long term. He's not a crazy like analytical IGO who has crazy strats. I don't think they get that much more tactical than this. And the second thing is, I watched Grix at this major. He got outclassed by Sizzy, for example, and it looked like there's too many games where his opping style looked too like flicky, if that makes sense. It's not like it feels too puggy, if that makes sense. I don't think it's like
yeah, but I think a lot of that is.
Yeah, I think he just choked. Those are the two issues that I said, but I think Griggs choked because I think he's usually better than this. And the beautiful thing is
these are his hardest opponents.
Yeah, but it's about positioning as well, right? Like you got to adapt to those small points.
The shots were just bad shots, not like he missed the easy kill. He just literally was going for bad fights.
Yeah,
which is something that you're used to when you play against bad opponents.
The beautiful thing is, even if Griggs turns out to be a fraud, we can just recall J Bone and we have another shot at a good upper.
Sure. Yeah, J Bone looks more style. My other issue is like why do you have Taps in here? Like I get he's experienced.
I mean, who else are you gonna have?
It's not like this team has so much firepower. Like Jay's pretty good, but he's not like a star player. Blamef is pretty good. Like he's a he's a very good player, but like he's not like a top 10 player. And like Grix is kind of like if Big are gonna play real teams soon, like they're playing Paravision XC events. Let's say they get to the invite range, they're probably gonna have to play like again like Martinez. I think Martinez is a better opera than Grix. Then they're gonna play like James. I think James is a better opera than Grix, for example. I think I think even if you go like the top 15 to 20 range, you're gonna get better operas than Grix.
Yeah, but I don't know if it makes. I'm gonna be honest with with the state of opus right now. I don't know if like the sub top differences are really that important. Like if we're not talking like Morizon, Shiro, like if we're not going up that level, like if we're splitting hairs between like Martinez and Griggs, like they're different. I'm sure they are different. But if at that level, it's just the other players, I think, just gonna have more impact. Yeah. And like on the like expectations, I don't know if like. I think Big themselves would be happy to be in the same conversation as Heroic, like a top 12 invite.
Where they are. I just don't see the. I think Big where they are is fine. I think there must be expectations. I just don't think they're gonna go from like where they are right now, like 22nd, like 20th in the world, maybe, to like we're gonna be like 13th in the world.
I think they can get to 13. 13 is fine.
They can get to 13.
I don't think they can get to like top 8. Like, that's...
No.
No, like
I'm gonna go to VRS right now.
The absolute limit, I think, is 12. Like that's what they'll try to reach.
Or like right now,
and then we have to look at
from 10 to 15 is like G2, Foot, 9Z, MongolZ, Paravision, and MIBR. Big can be in that conversation.
I think they're all way better teams.
Big can easily be better than MIBR and like.
Sure, best 15. like we gotta
Yeah.
get okay. Are you gonna be better than Mongols? Like okay, okay.
I think they
Xeno,
can
sure.
be better than Mongols right now, to be honest.
Yeah,
Without
like
Xeno, sure. With him, Xeno, no shot. They're not gonna be better than 9Z.
They
Even though
can
9Z's
they can
mad
be
up
they
and
can be
down.
on par, I think.
like if
Do they?
9Z like drops off to their mean level, then they can maybe be better than
I'm saying,
9Z.
but I'm saying like
I
peak.
said 12 is the absolute ceiling.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
saying
the-
peak. I'm not saying like this is what will happen. I'm saying this is like the best they can do.
Sure.
Like even but
12
like
is the absolute ceiling if everything goes
Do they?
perfectly.
yeah, and like if they
Do
want to
they?
do better than that, then they need moves or like something else for sure. But I think
even
Yeah.
12 is like the problem is like. Do you think Paravision doesn't improve a little bit with the new lineup? I think they get
Paravision to me, I just don't
You
know
like-
what to do with Hobbit joining.
Do you think Astralis don't get back to form? I don't think Astralis are that bad at Counter Strike. Like, I think they just had a bad run of form.
Hey,
I think they
okay,
get
this is a
little
good
better than that.
segue. This is a good segue to talk about Astralis because I actually
Yes.
that was my bad point for the major because it was very like
Yes.
very obvious, right? Them going 1-3, I think most people probably didn't expect that in that level of result, and the way it happened as well, I think was like more disappointing than anything. Like they sometimes they don't even really look good at all.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you have any immediate thoughts about Astralis?
My issue with Astralis is before. Sorry, you say Yosh. You continue.
Yeah, go on.
Actually, I haven't spoken enough. I think I'll just leap all my thoughts at the end for every team. So you
Yeah, that's
lead
fine.
first.
Okay,
You're
I'll
like
go second then. Okay. My thoughts on Astralis is before the American trip, I thought Astralis low-key were like the 10th best team, like the 10th, 9th best team. Like they were looking pretty good. The problem is that FUZI's been terrible recently. I think it's literally just FUZI. I don't think Astralis fundamentally changed. I know the teams look bad, but like Astralis don't have that much firepower, guys. FUZI has to frag in that team. Like, look at the team
yes,
itself.
it's true.
Like,
yes.
They don't have like because Ryu's not a star player. He's like actually kind of a bad player, like relative to like the best teams. And like Yabi's a decent like lurker, like third best player. He's like decent, but he's not gonna win the game for you. He can win you some rounds, but he's like a passive player. He's not gonna win the game. Hoshi literally doesn't frag. He's like a 0.81 this year. He's not gonna frag, right? So Stare and Fuji have to literally be gods to win games. Like they'd be two of the best players in the world, right?
Yes.
And up to about the America strip, Fuji was one of the best operators. He was playing really good, and Stare is still a top 20 player this year. Absolutely, he had a bunch of good tournaments, right? Great at Pro League, played great at Bucharest when he got second. He's great at even at Katowice, for example. The whole team looks pretty good.
Stare has been a success, I think. But
yes.
I think
before they went to
go
US for Fort Worth, Fuji was playing really well. But these last three events, he's been dog shit. He's been terrible.
Yes, but I think that I think this major performance can be attributed to the FUZI like expectation versus reality situation just for that tournament. But I think if we're talking like longer term issues, I think Ryu has just been a bust. I think like
Yes.
relative to to be honest, I didn't think that many people had that many expectations for him coming from Monty. Like I didn't really have him on my radar. I don't know how many people did.
Keep in mind, he's replacing a washed up Magus. The bar was really low.
I mean, yeah, but even Meg, it was all up in the air at that point. But I think like in this team, the concentration of firepower is just like very confusing. They have
2.5 good players.
Like Hooksy's never gonna do anything. But that's sort of what you bought into, right?
Yeah.
You're building a team structure, right? That's the expectation. And so now, if we're talking riflers, like between Ryu and Yabi and Stare, it feels like the distribution should not be so like polarized. Like Stare is doing very well, but it feels like Yabi shouldn't be this like. Yeah, it's sort of an inconsistent.
Yabi's not bad. No, Yabi's not bad. He's
but
decent, but like he's
above average player, roles is
but he's
average.
Not a star.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna
say.
He's like
okay, but you could do way worse than Yabi relative to the rules. Like Nissan is a much worse player relative. To
if you're thinking about like the best that a KD and Yabi situation has had to offer, compared to the kind of Yabi we've been seeing.
I've seen Yabi play worse than these right now. Like, Yabi late
but not that much
abysmal,
worse.
for example.
Yeah, but Ryu is putting up dreadful numbers.
Yabi could be your fourth best player if you got a better Ryu player, better player than Ryu in his positions, or Hoshi got like a 0.5 bump. Like he played a little better.
No, Yabi can only be your fourth best player if you have another star on the team. They don't have another. They need 2 stars for Yabi to be the fourth best player, or Yabi has to step up.
Yeah,
that's the only option.
Needs to wake up. That's the point.
Yeah. But
so I think the Shaw issue is very simple.
Yeah, go on.
Can I give my armchair psychology read on Astralis? Like problem is like the start of the year, they played really well, and with all their like animosity in the end in the comms, I think they just took for granted how good they were at the start of the year, and when FaZe fell into that slump during the end, the sort of expectation and reality just didn't align, and they all like tilted off the face of the earth and just like played even worse because of it.
Yes.
I think HooXi is a decent caller. Like he pulled Astralis out of the rut after the Cadian fiasco, but he is so bad of a fragger that basically you can't have another bad player on this team. So like Yabi's okay, Stair's good, FaZe, if he gets back to his usual level, is good. We have to monitor that, but like I wouldn't get rid of him because he showed he can do well. Just I would make the one change that you guys also said: swap out Ryu for like a
lot of players.
rifler.
I'll take Soulfly over Ryu. Oh yeah,
Soulfly is a good shout if his English is good enough. Like
I think it should be. Yeah. He was in Zangar, right? If I remember correctly.
No, that's Jodo.
Yeah, and Aurora. I didn't even hate him in Aurora. He always got the worst. He always got the worst spots.
Yeah, relative to role, he did pretty good.
Fairly good. Like,
he was all right. Like he didn't throw the game.
Someone like that, like just replace Ryu with a more skilled player, and then see if FaZe gets back to his usual level.
Yeah.
Also, I'm glad they kicked the coach. That was needed.
Raga was keeping a job.
Raga hasn't been doing anything, for far too long.
Yeah, I mean, like talking on that specific point, I have two things to say on the Charlotte to round this one up. First is, I actually think like people have been, I think, rightfully criticizing Neo for sort of like doing nothing in like the appearance of doing nothing, especially because of the FaZe clan sort of collapse. But also like his role in that team was pretty much just to be like tactical, just some tactical like injections on what was otherwise just sort of Kerrigan's like broader game plan. And so I think if that's what he does, then it will work well here, where like he just like calls a strat if the team needs it, but HooXi is otherwise the voice of the team. I think that's fine. Whereas Raga felt a bit more motivational speaker to me. Like obviously we don't know like the full details, but the way they talked as well, it felt to me like he wanted to
like think about the coaches that worked with HooXi. They're usually ones with
what was his name? Swanee, right? The analyst coach. That one actually that worked out.
Tactics. So like there's one HooXi didn't work with Taz, for example. Like,
so
you can't just be giving like
and the second thing I want to say is that like if you're gonna be putting up these kinds of rifler performances while being international, I think this season, like, I would just go to, like, just start looking for Danish replacements to go full Danish again if FURIA doesn't pick it up. Because if you're gonna keep, if you're gonna be having these sorts of numbers, you may as well have 5 full, like,
Danish players.
I know that the problem is that you just picked up Neo,
you can't get, like, J Bowen. Because J Bowen probably wants to go international, I would assume. If you get J Bowen, that's a steal, obviously, because he's the best Danish operator. Like, I was just somehow kind of device playing tier 3. He probably is the best Danish operator. But, like, if you can't get J Bowen, the problem is the next best Danish operator is like Nikodos or some shit. Because you obviously, like, who else left? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at that point, like, to be honest with you, like, that's not even that. If you're going to compare that, like, even if it's a slight expectation of firepower downgrade, you're looking at the, like, team cohesion upgrade potentially, which like at that point the Orba difference is almost negligible compared to the team difference in my opinion, but then you have to contend with like Neo
from ecstatic. That's really good, for example.
Yes, but I just think that they should have. I don't know why they went international for this. Like I don't like if they're gonna go international, surely you should go for it with like more impressive pieces.
More heaters,
like, but regardless,
I see it with the Opera, because when Device was leaving, there really wasn't, or they were kicking him, I don't know, since he was pretty bad by the end. Like there were no options for Danish Opera at the time they went international, so I can see why they did it. And I also think they should stay international, because Danish people can speak English, man. This isn't like a language barrier problem. I just think their second international piece just needs to be better.
Yeah, but like
it.
I think that's like my implied point is I don't think better players are going to Astralis. That's my real point. Is that like if you're
high enough in the rankings where they might consider it.
I guess so.
I think you can. There's so many good riflers out there that surely one of them plays on like a bad enough team where you would definitely say yes to Astralis.
I think Astralis are just waiting for team collapses and like roster splits to pick up some pieces. It feels like that's what's the inevitable like destiny. But anyway, moving on to does anyone have any other? Because this stage 2 felt to me fairly like predictable.
Yeah, very normal.
A lot of things like happened that you expected, and there's not that many teams that you'd be that mad at in any direction. But
yo, does Yosh have an opinion on Astralis? I think Yosh is kind of
like I think Yosh give your rounding off on what you want to say.
All right, Astralis, that's Astralis or stage 2 in general.
Well, start with Astralis, then we'll go into your stage 2 point. I think you've got more to say because a lot of Asian teams here.
True, but I'll start with Astralis. Like, it's one of the nice. Well, I think Astralis, they definitely underperformed. They should be like doing better at majors. I also want to say that if it wasn't for BRS and that, like, if RMR still existed in majors, they wouldn't be at the major at all.
No, fuck out of here.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I don't know that seems sort of tangential.
Nah.
We're not bringing back in RMRs.
A full best of threes. I'm gonna no.
But anyway.
They were the highest ranked team in the MRQ, the final qualifier before it became fully VRS, and they still managed to fuck it up.
Yeah. Anyway, but I think that's besides the point.
Yeah, a lot of teams play online CS, and they still couldn't do it.
But I don't like that's not a point that I value. To be honest with you, I think we can leave the RMR. RMR should just be a thing of the past for most things. The only conversation I'll entertain is for like the Asian region, because there's an argument that we just don't have a way to get all these pings
structure. Yeah,
like that's the only reason that I would be like, okay, there might be a place for it here, but aside from that, like, Europe does not need an RMR 100%.
No, yeah, also at the time when the MRQ was last time, like where the RMR maybe would have been, that's like exactly the time where they got second at Bucharest. So like in the usual RMR time slot, Astralis was quite good. So like apart from the sort of mystical Astralis curse, whether that still exists or not, there would have been no reason why they wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, they would have just blistered free. They would have just blistered.
Yeah.
Well, that's whatever.
Let's
just move on.
They just underperformed, and nothing much else.
Right. What else were you saying on the stage in general?
All right, let's start with the positive. The two things positive things to say about our 9C and Monty. 9C, I think, not much of us expected them to reach the playoffs.
Yeah. Unless you're Haka for some reason.
Yeah, they beat FlyQuest. As far as they nearly beat Spirit, like it was like a 50-50 match.
Yeah, bro, Spirit is so lucky. They actually should have lost all 3 maps.
Yeah.
Every beat title qualified.
That same my Pickles, by the way. The crazy thing is, Spirit barely won that game. I still didn't get 5 for stage 3, bro. I got scammed. That's crazy.
But yeah, like they don't have the best players, and they still managed to work really well with what they got. Unlike a few certain teams I'm gonna talk about later. But let's go to Monty first. Monty, although I don't think much people had expectations of them going to stage 3. Like I saw a lot of Monty 0-3s mining.
Same.
Yeah.
I didn't have Monty 03, but I did have Monty making it. No shot.
Well, yeah, they also don't have good players, but they made it work, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, correct me if
I'm on to the negatives.
Yeah, go on.
TYLOO. I'm not really that pissed at them. Like, they definitely could have done better, especially against 9C and Legacy, where they just collapsed. But other than that, they played well against Astralis, against Pain.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at their results page, right, I think I can only be that mad at them for Legacy because losing to Foot, I think most people would have expected them to lose to Foot. Beating Pain
Yeah, that's fine.
and
Yeah,
Astralis
they
is
even
like
got rounds. They got like 9 rounds, I think. They looked okay.
yeah. And then 9Z was clearly on like a different level in this tournament. So like if
Yeah,
you're
9Z
looking at
won
what
all the pistols
yeah
as
what
well. They had
happened,
so many good spots.
that's fine. Like at least you lost to a playoffs team in that sense. But I think Legacy is the one where I'm like, well, you could have been Legacy. I think so.
Bro, I actually watched that
Legacy
game.
was
They won
garbage
both.
this major.
Yes,
Bro.
100%.
No. Because no. To understand how bad TYLOO got wrecked in this series, the Mirage game they won both pistols at full conversion. They got 7 rounds.
Yes, it was a
They won like
it was
one
a
gun
tough
round I think, the
watch. It
whole
was a
game.
tough watch.
And Inferno, I think they also won a second like force buy. They had a good start and they got like 5 rounds.
Yeah, but I
It
think
was ugly as hell. They got like maybe 3
Yeah.
total gun rounds.
And
Yosh, you're saying-
yeah, TYLOO. I still think Legacy beats TYLOO most of the time. Legacy just has good firepower, and they won CAC.
Yes.
They have a good system. That's like
Yeah.
in a better
And also,
place
Lotto
than
is playing
TYLOO.
out of his mind right now. Lotto's playing like a top 10 player in the world, bro. That dude's playing.
it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would usually I'd be fine with TYLOO losing to Legacy, but Legacy was pretty
They looked
bad
off
across
this
this-
tournament. Yeah.
this whole major, and losing
really
this
off, yeah.
convincingly to a Legacy that's completely out of form to me just also isn't
Yeah.
acceptable.
Yes, I agree. But
No,
Okay.
I think Legacy just showed up like at the right time. But
yeah,
yeah.
but
Yeah, even then.
the thing about this, if you're comparing to like the worst we've seen from TYLOO collapses, this doesn't even like make the conversation.
True.
So I
This
think
isn't even
from,
as bad as
True, yeah.
Budapest, where they looked so bad. Like, they looked so bad at Budapest. Like,
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
anything
other
else,
than
Yosh?
the Legacy, other than the Legacy and 90 games, like they have decent form. Like the playstyle, the mechanics are there,
yeah.
and like
Jam
they're
Jam is sick.
generally, in general, just going towards the good direction. I have good
generally,
hopes that I have good hopes they're gonna like do well the next season. They're gonna improve.
Yeah, I think Zero's been
they're-
improving.
Sure.
That's my
Yeah,
like.
I agree.
Because Attacker, like he was stable and nothing at the same time, which was sort of what the team needed at the beginning. Like when he joined, that was Attacker. I'm not making the wrong name.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get
Yeah.
mixed up between like Summer and Attacker, like these
Most
generic
likely.
one-word names. But the
Yeah, Attacker was
That's
just
most
too
of them.
bad by the end.
yes, he was
He was
a
going
necessary veteran like playoff at when he joined, and then he just like outstayed his welcome and was replaced. But so it is also just nice to get a new name in a team as well, rather than just the constant swaps
The
back
thing
and
is
forth.
that. Okay, can I say my piece real quick?
Wait, I want to hear Yosh.
just-
Yosh, what do you think of Zero? That's what I want to know.
No, I think he's really good. He's the Chinese Senzu. It's gonna be the next big player.
Okay, that was more than I expected. Really?
Yeah. I think if you've seen him play like this season, you can see him improving really fast. Like at a really,
His
really fast
eye
pace.
test looks good. As soon as he's out of comfort, he looks completely terrible. But that's gonna be with time. So
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
anyway.
like the weaker players like G and Mercury, I don't think they're like awful. They're like just
Yeah.
pretty mid. They could do better, but it's not. It's something
Yeah.
that they can definitely iron out and develop.
yeah, G is like I think G can at least get like a stable. He can stop being terrible. I don't think he's gonna be great, but he can stop being terrible. I think that's in the cards.
Yeah.
Bola, you were gonna say something?
Okay, because the 9G thing, I'll put that to the side.
Yeah,
for
because
now,
they're
and I'll
gonna be
talk
in the
about it as
playoffs
the last one.
conversation. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. The Monty thing, Lord gives me. That's one thing. Like, actually, you have to give Kakafu credit. He was like a pretty decent coach back in the big days. You gotta give credit to Kakafu actually as a coach. He clearly does him and Gizzy clearly do have like one good game planning. Like they actually outcalled G2 and somehow lost because G2 stars saved them in that game. They actually all called MongolZ. They should have won the match series. They should have beaten MongolZ. I don't know how they didn't win that series. They literally had Falcons on the ropes. They had them on the
Yeah.
ropes. Like they had them like booked almost. Like it was crazy. Did they come up map off Boom? They beat Legacy in the best of one. They outclassed Big. They actually should have won that big game much faster. I don't know how it ended up being like a 13-9. They should have like washed them. They won the T half as well. They really forgot to pick a side, if you remember, and they got like 7 rounds on T side.
Wait, no way Monty forgot to pick a side too.
Yeah, Kakafu said on HLTV that they literally, because Monty was stage 2 team, they got to pick the side, right? Because they got to be Team B, right? because they were the
Yeah.
higher seed. They literally
Pain,
like
right?
because
No, yeah,
No,
because
it was
it happened because Payne definitely forgot to pick a side against Big because Payne was allowed to pick the side and ended up starting T on overpass because
Yep.
they forgot to
Monty
pick the
did the
side.
same thing.
As if Monty did
Cactus
the same
said,
thing. What do coaches even do?
Cactus hadn't played a major in like literal years. I think he had to play majors like Paris, I think. So he literally, because they do it on the computers and stuff, and he might automatically just pick the side anyway because he didn't pick it for a little bit. He's like, he was so excited to start. They literally forgot to pick a side. They start T by like complete automation, and they still won the T half. It's crazy. That's not the point, right? This is why they went 0-3 at the next turn they went to without their main IGL. Like, no respect to Lux, but he's not Gizmy. Gizmy might be low-key like the 5th best IGL in the world. That guy's unreal. When it comes to TYLOO, my problem with TYLOO is two things. One, I don't believe in Mercury as a caller. It's actually crazy that like Advent could literally be retired and he's still the best Chinese IGL. He hasn't played in a billion years. He might still be the best Chinese IGL. Like I have no faith in Mercury as an actual caller. They called the most. Bro, especially late last year, they were abusing GM Young's like aim and mechanics to win T rounds.
I mean, that's what they should
abusing
do.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that's that. Like, I don't see
they-
another path for them.
Yeah,
I understand GM Young's your best player.
There
I
just
get
isn't
that.
a good Chinese IGL with hands, so Mercury is
mean.
kind of the best option. But I don't.
Sure.
I agree with you that he's not a very good caller.
Yeah.
Like
Yes, they abused
rely
like a
on
nerd GM Young
firepower
to win you
so
rounds
much,
by
yeah.
like the reason why they couldn't get anything done on Mirage against when they got to the T half, I think it was the second half because Mirage I think was Legacy's pick, I believe. No, Mirage was TYLOO's pick actually. And they had like a 2-0 start and they won like 3 rounds on T, I think. They literally had nothing. They couldn't get anything done because when GM couldn't get entries against a good team like Legacy, they had nothing. They didn't have proper like executes. They didn't have a proper default. They didn't have like you would take map control. They had nothing. For example, I remember I watched it was Fissure Playground 2, and it was the 1-0 game against Aurora, if you remember, right? It was on Mirage. They won both pistols in full conversion. I think Zitar didn't even play that good in that game. And like you watch the T half they had in the first half, it was just Jeremy running short every round, and he just died a bunch of times. It was actually like depressing to watch. Like the amount of times they were just like, oh, they weren't even throwing flashes for him. He was just dry peeking like Wakati on short and just dying. It was crazy.
Was that the Fisher they won or the other one?
The other one. They played them in the 1-0
yeah.
game, and like he literally they were just dry peeking Wakati short. It was actually like mad annoying to watch. I was like, bro,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Like
I think the thing about TYLOO is that I think with this new like the direction of the roster, to me just seems to me like they're not interested in going the like tactical route. They're not interested. That at most they'll get like some pre-planned stuff and like they'll get the papers right, and then they'll rely on like making sure they can have as many people individually firing as possible. Like that's why they've got
the problem
Zero.
Here
right?
is then you have to go to like. Dude, I agree. Zero's much better than attacker. Zero's actually a lot better than his stats. Even when you had bad stats,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, he's at least better than attacker. He gets his 1-for-1 usually. The problem is, okay, MOUZ has actually been fine. MOUZ had the odd map where he pops off. He could be like a decent 3rd star. The problem is, it's not just that G sucks. It's that G can't rifle. If G could rifle, I think it would be much less of an issue. Like, you know what I mean? G is like
I actually didn't think about that, but you are right. He can't really rifle.
He's basically Chinese Moldoy where he just can't rifle.
Yes,
Moldoy has to
is
use
right.
the op, or he's not that
is
effective.
right. Yeah.
If G was competent on rifles, I think G's issues as a star would not
that's
be great.
the funny thing is
fine enough.
I think if you swap G and Zaka, I think that TYLOO might actually just straight up be like way better with Zaka instead of G, because Zaka can rifle and rope.
Exactly, that's the main thing. Because Zacker's op is like maybe 5% better than G's, maybe, but even then,
More than
Zacker's style is
5,
way
I'll
more
say,
flicky. Like, no, because Zacker's floor is real bad. Actually, Zacker like
G's. I mean, if we're comparing floors, we're looking at some very deep floors.
Zacker makes G like the problem with G is like I remember the amount of time I see on Mirage where
he
G
just misses
shots
shots that he should not miss. That's the main problem with G.
He misses shots, but the bigger issue that G plays too scared on the op sometimes. Where I feel like, for example, how many times on Mirage have you seen G just stay stack B because they'll just leave him by himself on B and everyone else just stacks on A?
I mean, yeah, but that's to me that seems like a game plan because the rest of these guys will just keep moving. Like They're looking for rifle
Sure,
jewels,
but
and
it
his
tells them
job
they
is not
don't
to
have
do
faith in
that.
G to go for opening picks, opening
Yeah,
plays.
but
That tells me they have
I
no
just don't
faith
think
in
that's
G.
the team plan of TYLOO is G opening play. That's like a team plan
Sure.
thing.
That's
I
a
don't think
limiting
that's
factor
his
then.
tendencies.
If Mercury, okay, so Mercury sometimes frags, but he's not a star. Like he's not a Kerbeni frag
Yeah,
in IGL.
100%. No.
Moses sometimes shows up, but he's not like a third star. And Zero has like impact, like he'll sometimes win you rounds, but he's not a star player. We have one real star player. You have to make your opera work. Or
I think they're just trying to.
I
I think they're trying to like do getting everyone to like a semi-star status outside of the IGL.
Yes.
I think they're getting Zero and like
Sure.
Mosey up there. I
Another
think that's the
issue is
idea.
again considering they've had this core four for a while. Like I think they added. I've had this core four for like over a year now. They had this core four for a long time actually.
Yes.
They still don't have the map pool again, just like Lynn. They basically only have Mirage.
Yeah, but like I
give
give them a pass. I don't give them a pass, but I understand it because they don't got a guy for that. At least like Lynn Vision, I take issue with that because Gum has been there for ages, and I believe in his like that's his vision. Like that's the reason that team is second to like TYLOO. They were supposed to be like we're weaker players, but we make up for it by being like cohesive with it. And for a little while that was true, but like it's just anyway. I think we can round off the TYLOO discussion and I think move on. I don't know. Does anyone else have any other things to say about teams in this section? Because I think
I'm good.
Yeah.
No, wait. I want to say like you're shitting on Mercury too much. Like he isn't that bad. Like he sometimes makes some like questionable plays, but I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt that like he's young and they're learning and stuff, and he's definitely better than Advent. That's just recent.
Okay, as an individual player, sure, but like Advent, I know at his peak can like have fakes, actually trick the opposition. Like as peak, he actually could like make a mid round.
Yeah,
like
I mean, but like we're also comparing different
Mercury
versions of
frag that much,
CS
and
a
he
little
baits
bit.
like a motherfucker, bro. Like he doesn't even do the sacrifice hooks.
Mercury frags fine.
Yeah, I don't have.
He's frags fine, but he doesn't frag so good like the Kerbeni level where he justifies baiting his team this crazy.
I mean, I don't think that's the team's issue. That the team's issue is like different, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, any final points before we move into the next stage? And we have a lot of things that we didn't talk about, but I don't really have anything to say about like Gamer Legion,
the only one that will
Pain.
is the GL choke on Nuke. That GL choke was crazy.
Yes, but
I'm leaving like 5 I still want to talk about Big. Like Big is not. I think it's disappointing. Like I think with the momentum they had after that 12-0 comeback, they should have just beelined into.
I mean, from a story perspective, maybe, but like, I think realistically,
but they clearly the problem is they could have made it to stage 3 since they were up 6-1 on the last map. But realistically, that was like the best case scenario possible. They just didn't have a good enough T-side playbook to make it much further. Like I'm not that disappointed, apart from as a fan, because I attended stage 3 in the playoffs, that I didn't at least get to see them play a couple games. In that sense, I'm disappointed. But beyond that, they couldn't have gone much further here. Like I had the hot take that they would make stage 3 just about, and they almost did, but I couldn't have done much better than that at this point in the roster.
Like with the momentum, the morale, the firepower they had, I think they definitely should have gone to like 3-1. I think morale.
The problem here is, yes, I agree. At the absolute maximum, the problem is, if you're a big fan, you can't say, "Oh, we could have beaten Bait," and then also consider you still have to make a 12-0 comeback to get to stage 2. You have to. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? You have to consider you should have lost stage 1. Maybe you could say, "Oh, you could have beaten Gamer Legion. That series close." Sure, but also like maybe you could have won the TL opening game. Would have been easier. Sure, but the point is, you still made a 12-0 comeback. Like you can't say, "Oh, we should have beat Bait," and be mad the other thing did happen. You can't have everything go right for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you maybe would have won one extra game, maybe. Like, come on, Yosh. You know. I know you're like you're.
I think it's just a narrative. It just feels worse, but I don't. From a dry perspective, like it's fine.
Yeah, like I guess the momentum thing is like valid, but how much can momentum really make up for not having a good playbook?
And it's not. And
I
that
don't think they should have.
big as a team doesn't strike me as I don't think they benefit or suffer from momentum as much as other teams would anyway.
Yeah, they're pretty
And they
stable.
had the home crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
No,
I
No,
mean,
but there's no
not
crowd
yet.
at that point. There's no crowd at that point.
There was
home
only
stage.
crowded stage 3, and
Yeah.
they didn't make it there.
Yeah.
anyway, I'll cut off the big talk because anyway, any final
Sure.
Game Legion? Does anyone care about
Oh,
Game
I
Legion?
haven't talked about FlyQuest yet. I'm leaving that for last.
I don't want to talk about them
FlyQuest,
though. There's nothing to talk. They
I
just
don't-
lost
I
and they
don't
suck.
either.
They suck ass.
Or
And let Yosh vent for 1 minute on FlyQuest since we all said our
Right.
part already, and we don't need to respond.
Go on, Yosh.
my gripes of FlyQuest are a bit different, but like I'm not even that mad about their major performance. The thing that tipped me off, the thing that made me explode against FlyQuest is what they did before the major and just the entire season in general.
Yeah, not practicing.
Like-
Yes.
Yeah.
Their social media team, they keep saying that they're practicing. They're like going to like
And
new
then
heights, and then they say like they're trying to do what MongolZ did, and
Well, now
compete
MongolZ aren't practicing,
internationally.
so
no, that's full of fucking shit. They lost to fucking Alter Ego. Do you know what players are on
They lost a
Alter
5-star,
I
bro.
do,
They lost a
but-
5-star.
Ego? They lost to 5-star in
but
Alter Ego.
I'm gonna be honest. Alter Ego aren't even that bad. they bad, but
They
they're
were
not that
all
bad.
like-
Watch players, bro. What are you talking about?
Yes.
It was
No,
online.
no.
It was
Al-
online
Alter
because it actually
Ego-
matters. Since like they were playing from the Middle East, they had like 150 ping that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't Alter still have Ben 10, bro?
Bro, respect
no.
Benton.
Honestly, no.
That's
The
a
thing
legend, bro.
is,
Come on, 2023 Ben 10. Come on.
yeah. What people won't realize is Alter Ego would have made the major so easily, but they just got fucked by not having the LAN in their region. Like if
Sure.
I once I saw a couple of their results and was like, okay, wait, so what? So how are they this low in the ranking with these results? And I like calculated their VRS at one point just because I'm curious. Like if you just deduct all the flat LAN win points from the other teams, and they were like third in the whole APAC region. If you just reduce the flat amount of points you get for LAN wins, since they had 0 LAN wins, they're like the 3rd or 4th best team in APAC, but just didn't even make it close to making the major because they had no LANs.
Yeah,
Like,
I think let me put it this
Alter
way.
Ego are underrated.
If all the online qualifiers and games were on LAN, Alter Ego would probably be in the major. I think they would have needed some roster like shuffle here there because I don't know if Paul Bandana, whatever that guy is doing. Like he was fine, but I think they could have easily produced a roster that would have made a major had everything been online. But all these qualifiers for stuff is like ping between regions and it's a mess. So I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But anyway,
I go back to the point. Like they even blue bought us. They blue bought me. They like gave me hope when they joined Digital Crusade Draculan. Yeah, Draculan. Like back in February.
And they lost 100 thieves.
Like, gave me the illusion that they were actually gonna go to Europe and actually grind there and play in their tournaments, and then that turned out to be their only interregional tournament this entire season. They played like one Chinese tournament every month.
And they got banged out and they're like 0-2.
Yeah, and they can't even win them anymore. They lost the fucking Chinggis Warriors. Chinggis Warriors in 2026. What the fuck?
yeah. I mean, listen.
They barely played anything, and when they did, they lost to teams you can't even imagine. They
lose a
were
5-star.
just
You guys are like
garbage,
the 4th best Chinese team or something.
Thunder Down Under, you know, Thunder Down Under, they're a bunch of plumbers. All the players have day jobs. They work as actual plumbers and truck drivers.
Yeah.
And they played more than FlyQuest. They played in more tournaments than FlyQuest this
Yeah.
season.
Sure.
Respect social media
Yeah.
promotion.
I'm trying to go stage 3 IQ.
Yeah, I think that's where we'll leave.
Was that your
The only
FlyQuest rant,
reason-
Yosh, or?
No,
You have one more.
I'm not done with you. I'm still fucking pissed. The only reason FlyQuest even played in any of the tournaments is because they were actually their major spot was in jeopardy. They nearly didn't make us Cologne. They like if they lose to like one or two more Chinese teams, they would actually would have just missed Cologne entirely. They barely scraped by.
Oh, okay, to be fair, they didn't lose a lot. So you asked them to lose even more scraping.
Yeah, we can put him to rest. I think put him out to pasture.
Let them die.
I've watched like this season. I also watched FlyQuest Red play. I had more hope watching FlyQuest Red play, even though they lost nearly every single match, because they at least actually play in matches.
Promote Vivian to the main team.
FlyQuest needs to stop being lazy. I agree.
But, like, we need to demote FlyQuest into FlyQuest Green and just remove the red from FlyQuest Red. Just call it FlyQuest and call the other team FlyQuest Green.
Real.
All right, let's.
I have more hope in BB alone than the entire FlyQuest roster.
I think if she played it in like mixed teams like from the ground up, I think she actually would have a solid shot compared to the rest of the fucking players that are reaching.
It should be the best chance. Sure.
Anyway, let's move on to stage 3. I think. Yosh, we could go on forever. I think, but let's move on to stage.
Yosh, you know those like straight, those crazy person jackets with like the belts and stuff, where, like it's all white.
Yes.
Like you know what Miss Puff wears, which is in the crazy box. I guess Yosh talking about FlyQuest.
Bro, listen, I've been there. I'm spent. You know, there's nothing left.
Last year, that would have been me talking about Big, but there's better times ahead, thankfully.
I mean,
one more thing. That now I remind you, like you were talking about FlyQuest not having firepower. You know, this team used to have more firepower than MongolZ, right?
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Grey and FlyQuest, they used to beat up MongolZ every time.
Yes,
the Mongolians.
It used to be an hour-long conversation.
They had the potential.
Mongolz were like 17-year-olds, bro. To be fair, bro. Bro, they didn't even
They had
finish
the
school at that point,
potential.
bro. Come on.
They definitely can play better. They have the potential to actually reach stage.
Do they?
I think they had the
fuck off
potential.
for 45 years.
Yeah, I mean with Medic alone they have like they're ruining they're actively ruining Netic right now by not playing games. That's my take, and I already said that before.
Yeah. Anyway,
And the part about European players, like it's not the fact they're not getting European players. They're wasting them all. They're making the European player rot and not want to play for this team anymore. They're wasting all of the players that want to help FlyQuest time. Like they're wasting.
I mean, they're wasting them in some way, but like I don't think Regali and Story were looking for that many jobs. Maybe Regali was okay when he joined, but like
they should have treated like Story going to this team as a privilege, and they like just wasted it all.
Yeah, they should have brought him to Burwood, taken him to some good Chinese food. Anyway, that's an Australian-only reference.
They should have played in more tournaments. They
Anyway.
should capitalize on the fact they have a decent European offer, and they just throw it away. What the fuck?
It's hot. Yeah. Moving on to stage 3. I want to start stage 3 by talking about NAVI, because I think that to me, especially considering the roster mania or lack of roster mania, I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
I think we just got to talk about this team, man. What is Navi's deal? Like, what happened?
So like specifically with this major, the hot take is this major was Blade's fault. Like specifically this.
I
have to agree.
Sure. I think the vetoes were so bad.
Yeah, the vetoes were horrid. And like your best player is MongolZ, and he's an ancient merchant, and you just don't pick ancient.
They
pick
picked
all his
Inferno
worst
into
maps.
G2, bro.
Yeah, the Inferno into G2.
That's crazy. I know G2's win rate isn't great, but like that's Hunter's best map. Like Hunter loves Inferno.
Yeah, like I think
you
sort
gave
of
Hunter a no. Think about it. They gave Hunter a still reasonably new IGL, dust to Mirage Inferno.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's
Morizon, you were saying?
Unforgivable. Like I think it was like veto and coaching disaster class specifically at this major.
Yes.
And like MongolZ had a
struggled.
had a bad tournament, but
one of them wasn't that good
that,
either. He was mad up and down.
Yeah, and part of, but I think the difference between their normal level and what happened at this major was in part like Makaze underperforming, which
A lot, yeah.
which in turn was in part because they never really picked Ancient.
Yeah, they played
That-
zero.
that was-
No, they played one. No, they played one ancient game and they barely beat Mongols. I guess that Mongols game scared them.
Yeah, could be. They
Yeah, because they were down like 5-11. I think I had to make a comeback.
Yeah, they only played Ancient once, and like that
They barely won that game.
that was the
Mongols
problem
choked-
at this
Mongols choked
tournament
that game away.
specifically.
Yeah.
I
Mongols
think
choked that
I think
game
you
away,
can
so-
I think you can almost ignore the major, and in general
Yeah.
say you're almost there, but you need
Yeah.
one player better
One
than
chance.
Imma. One
Agree.
player that has more firepower than Imma to like make that last little step.
Yeah.
I agree. I actually don't. If you're a Navi fan, I would just write it off as a slight off event. G2 put the Heavy God literally carried that series. Heavy God, I think, had a 1.4. They barely won that series. He played out of his goddamn mind. They
1.54
barely
in
won.
the G2 Navi game.
And they barely won that series.
I mean, yeah,
But
that's G.
That's
That's what
despite
G2
the
is.
veto
Yeah.
blunder.
I think
That's what I mean.
talking about
It's like having a 1.54 as an anchor lurker to win a 11-13 overtime 13-10. Like,
yeah, I think talking about this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't do this when it comes to Navi, and not just Navi but other like figures like this, is that if you give Blade credit for the planning and like the ramp up into a major and all of this that we've traditionally given him credit for, then he has to also receive the same criticism for when that same approach fails. And I think people don't do it because people feel bad about two things. People feel bad about criticizing Blade, and also people like just don't know. They just hear it and think about like the concept of it rather than actually seeing it like in the server and in the vetoes, like you were saying, right? So they don't actually know when to like reverse that praise and put it into criticism. But I think it 100% applies here. But also like at the same time, you also have to talk about like the players and how relative to expectations they performed, right?
Also, I feel like people only criticize players or staff that they want fired. It's like,
Yes.
obviously
Sure.
no one wants to fire Blade from Navi, and because of that nobody criticizes him. You can say, okay,
Yeah.
but you can't easily say, okay, Blade fucked up at this major, but he's like done God's work the last 2.5 years
Yeah.
with Navi, so like
Sure.
obviously it's like, okay, you fucked up this one,
Yeah, by no
do
means.
better next time and get someone better than Imma, please.
Yes, I think
Sure.
like like for a while he was, I wouldn't say coasting, but he was sort of maintaining his like status and reputation. But like now with the keeping of this roster, and especially like if you looked at some of the like interview comments where he's just vague posting about roster moves. He's like, something will happen. Maybe we're looking at the formation of our roster. Like he's just doing the vague stuff, which like the focus is now on him, in my opinion, to obviously like remedy whatever approach problems and also obviously make the right roster moves. And I think that's what like this season for me is like where I will start to be a little concerned, like genuinely concerned. Like I'm not really concerned by this season. Like it's a blip on the radar. Like it's worse than it should have been, like especially at the major. But if this season, like if there's either no roster moves or like there's a roster move that doesn't work out, then I'm starting to like wonder if the golden hand is not so golden anymore. But I'm just putting it out there. I don't think it's true yet, but I think it's big enough to make me like look now. Basically, it's like that's the level.
My only issue with Navi is I feel like Navi needs the right bracket to win a tournament, because how much an auto loss Spirit is and how they're still not the favorite against by how long term. FURIA is not like an easy opponent. Falcons is gonna be a bit tough.
Yes.
I like MOUZ isn't like free. Like it feels like Navi needs like the right opponents. Like maybe they could be like give them like Falcons FURIA that's like doable but it's hard. They just have to literally pray they don't play Spirit pretty much, and they pray they don't play Vitai probably, but that's unlikely. Like even teams like freaking like even I feel like even teams like 9Z give them like a chance. You know what I mean? There's too many points where I'm like, yeah, 9Z not even like the right veto, like the right like day, the right player showing up. Like Atlanta, they beat Vitai, okay, fair enough. But there's the points where I'm like, yeah, they're gonna beat Bepboom, obviously. They're gonna beat the Gamer Legion. They're gonna beat like an Aurora. That's a good matchup for them. They're gonna be like a Paravision. They need like the right opponents. They're gonna be like Foot. Give them like an Astralis. Like Navi need the right opponents. Which tells me yes, it's good prep, but also like certain matches they just get outgunned. Like they get outgunned by Vitality, which I mean Vitality outguns everyone, but you know what I mean. Like experience and auto loss. Like
the lack of a star player means that every punching up victory they have to get is for like blood, sweat, and tears. They never get an easy win. Like in general, they almost never get an easy win.
They have a superstar on Ancient, and the problem is Vitality bans Ancient.
Yes, but at this rate, they're gonna have more problems with Vitality if they keep slipping. I think, but
yeah,
like,
I wouldn't even hate if the next roster move, what you said earlier, if the next roster move ends up not working. I just need them to make a move, because there's just like remember when FaZe first started declining and we said, oh, you can't have Carrigan and Rain on the same team.
Yes.
At this point, you can't have Alexi and Ima on the same team firepower wise and actually win tournaments.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. Like long term, like
you just Alexi is a great caller, but his firepower has been like under the radar. But even for his standards, it's been declining like under the radar to an alarming rate, where he needs more firepower than this to like actually win those games. Like just get one better player than Ima, please.
Yeah, but and as an aside, you just reminded me of something that I like. I've thought about this, but I didn't think about it properly. The idea or justification that the Ima being there is like, oh, he also got some secondary calling responsibilities. I'm thinking between Blade and Alexi, the idea that they also need a secondary caller like figure. I get that it's probably important, especially in the server, to have somebody else who's giving ideas in general, but at that point you're really making it hard for yourself to find like a good player without also you sort of trapped yourself, right? By giving the justification, even not just externally, but internally, that Ima is contributing in other ways.
Yeah.
Now you need to squeeze output out of the other pieces because you're basically like excusing Ima's performance, and like you kind of made it worse for yourself by putting it that way. And
shout out to Vondas, of course, for showing everyone how bad Ima's mechanics really are.
I mean, even when he was good, I don't think people really thought Ima had great mechanics. I think he just. Even like in that Gamer League,
he's a very smart player.
Yes, he was a really good positioner, especially like in that Gamer Legion team that brought him on the map. But anyway, we'll talk about the failures mostly in this because the successes of the stage are obviously in the playoffs, right? So we'll talk about that bracket later. So
my biggest loser for stage 3 is like either like that's weird. Cause actually most of the
I'm gonna say Foot. I think Foot.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna maybe consider, but considering the first major for them, I can't put the boot them too hard.
They're just
they won a
young
tournament.
And choked.
You know,
they're
young. I'm not saying
my winner's take and this.
Yeah,
sorry, G. Because this is about Foot. Is I can't put the boot in them too hard because G2 games a coin flip that's always back and forth. The Vitality game, they got a map. I didn't expect
that's more
else.
than they should have.
And then the Bet Boom series, I'll talk about that later when I get to my Bet Boom point. So I do have one about Bet Boom specifically, or about the Bet Boom team to some degree later. But like, Foot were never gonna win that series. They lost like every force buy, every clutch. They were never gonna win that series. Like they lost like every you guys saw the game. I think Foot maybe won 1 out of like 9 1vx's. Like they couldn't win any clutches. Like it was crazy. And they lost like every force buy. It was mad. But I don't think they looked good enough. And the key thing is, this is the best they played in a while because they had the really rough America strip where they had like the stand-in. Then I think Locks had like an ulcer and his stats dropped like a lot near the end. And considering they did make a roster, I'm not too mad for it. I think this is like the bare minimum is just get to stage 3, win a couple games, and that's fine. But, yeah.
Does anyone think that X-Flood for Lonks is gonna do anything for this team? Surely it just
the way I would describe it is like Lonks before he had ulcer was like low key a top 20 player. Before he had the ulcer issue around like the end of the season, like health problems. Like up to when they won Bucharest, he looked like amazing. He was playing so good. But the thing about X-Files is actually X-Files ceiling is higher than Longs. X-Files like
I I think that's
Xcloud
the one thing is, I
better
trust
than
Coolio
longs
enough,
in
though.
10% of the games.
Yes, but I think Coolio could find a way to make xCloud more reliable, though.
if
I think
anyone
he'd find a way.
can, I guess someone has to try.
Could be.
Coolio's a good coach.
Yeah, I think xCloud is like a straight up 1-for-1 and slight downgrade to longs.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best that they could do considering longs wanted to leave, right? So
seems like
it's
it,
fair
yeah.
enough.
That's probably the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On other teams now, I think just to finish my point about Foot, my problem with Foot is like, yeah, obviously this is like a debut-ish type performance for them, and they're gonna find like every new with a new team, it's not necessarily that they always choke in a specific circumstance. It's more like every new opportunity for them is an opportunity that they've never had a framework for, and therefore it's easier for them to choke. Like I remember this with like the MongolZ ramp up back in when they were like top 30ish. Every time they got to a new stage, then they would stop there and then they would go like one stage above and that would like ramp forward and forward, right?
Yeah, that's just natural progression.
Yeah. With the same thing for Foot. My only problem with that is I just think that they could have done the same thing that they did, but just lost in the quarterfinals. I think for the legacy of the like story of the team going forwards, it would have just been better had they not lost to BetBoom in the final game. Like I think,
and for their narrative, sure.
Yes.
But the problem is they would have played Foot in quarters, and they even with Spirit not having their coach, they would have gotten obliterated.
But I think I would have been. I'm fine with this anyway, but I'm a little disappointed because I think that it would have been good for them to get a taste. You know what I mean? Like, I think the taste of playoffs would have really galvanized them going forward. But now there's more doubt. For me now, you know. But anyway,
to some degree, sure.
On the other teams, like I don't really have much to say about like the bottom 5 or 6.
Yeah, let Yosh do the MongolZ rant.
There's not that much to rant about for MongolZ, like in my opinion. Like I'll talk about it before I pass it on.
Nah, MongolZ have I have my issue with MongolZ too, but I'll let Yosh take this down.
Yeah, I'll go before Yosh does because I have a little bit. The BetBoom loss and the NAVI loss. I mean, that's 2 of the 3 losses though, but I think the
9Z loss.
Yeah, I don't have a big problem with the 9Z loss in retrospect because 9Z was clearly teams did not study them enough, not expecting them to be where they were, and they were much better than anyone expected. Like I don't everyone who lost to 9Z, I don't give them a pass, but I understand it in a different way. But for like losing to NAVI, the way they lost to NAVI was the worst that they did for sure. Because they
choked like an 11-6 lead.
Yeah, they got in positions to win, and then they just like forgot how to play the game. They just started doing things like randomly. It was really bad. The BetBoom game was another one where it was sort of a mini 9Z situation where no one really knows. I don't even think they themselves know what they were doing in that. Like it was just Boomich was taking the helm.
The problem is like MongolZ were lucky to even win Dust 2. MongolZ had no business winning Dust 2. Yes. I don't know how they won that map. They should have lost all 3 maps.
From the perspective of like if you take the games on a case by case basis and considering like the current makeup of the MongolZ or Form 1 even if the people leave, I really don't think it was like that bad. Like they are probably, I mean, like if you look at their ranking, they are in the exact position of a 2-3 team in this stage. So like they didn't overperform for once, and they didn't really like choke and lose. They choked, but they didn't bomb out. So like I don't really care, you know. Yosh, what do you think?
Yeah, but
here's the fact. I don't think what was it? Yeah, I don't think MongolZ are actually the biggest losers this stage. There is one more, MOUZ.
No, I don't count MOUZ.
Yeah, MOUZ was a mess.
MOUZ on a stand-in, bro.
MOUZ for me just doesn't count as a loser for this stage because with their roster decisions, this major was clearly a write-off.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't even like give themselves a chance this major. And if you look at the brackets, the teams they lost to, it's fine, right? They won their first game and then lost to FURIA, then Vitality, and then Foot.
Yeah, it's fine.
Those are not that unreasonable.
That's not unreasonable, especially considering they had a roster that was only for this tournament, like Brolin as a stand-in and Jim Fett's positions. Like
Yeah,
they
you can't
clearly
expect
wrote this
anything
one
else.
off and failed accordingly. Like
Yeah.
nothing
Like
much
you
to
can,
say
you
there.
can have problems about like their overall approach for the season and stuff like that, but like for the clearly this tournament was literally just let's get Zelix comfortable with big games. That was the only reason that they
Even
did
against-
this.
I see, but even against FURIA, Vitality, and Foot, they still like heavily underperformed. even
No,
against
no,
these
they're not
teams.
really.
No,
they got a map.
Vitality, they almost won.
They got a map against Furia and Vitality and Foot. Like with the roster, that's not really real. I don't really know what you could have
No,
expected.
no. Did you not watch the Vitality series? They should have won 2-0.
Yeah,
They should have won the
they-
Mirage.
they-
They actually played better. Like,
Yeah, they did decent, but like I mean, like they definitely should have won. They could have
I
done
don't
much
think
better.
so. I don't think that MOUZ.
no, I think like they like if anything, that tells me how badly Vitality played.
Yeah,
That's-
I should.
that's by the
Vitality
line.
dropping a map to this MOUZ is actually embarrassing for Vitality, 100%.
And they lost Dust too. MOUZ are garbage on Dust too.
Yeah. So like, I don't. MOUZ should have probably even gone 0-3. The fact that they won maps and looked decent is honestly good signs for the future. If anything.
Yeah.
And
If
Xerxes
anything.
still can frag. Xerxes played a major with front of a crowd, and he actually still fragged for most of the tournament.
I mean, if this
Yeah.
does anything for Zelix's confidence, then that's good enough for them. I think. Like he didn't completely
But
shit the bed. That's
the reason
fine.
why I think this is a big L for Mongols is like considering a lot of the upsets. I'm like, if you're Mongol situation, right? You had to be one of BetBoom, Navi, who didn't even play great this year, and you had a chance to win. And 9Z, you get and like you don't win any of those. It's like, and on top of that, Mongols could have lost to Monty. They barely won that series.
Yes,
like,
that is true.
He should have lost that. Like Mongols like looked so. Another thing is, Blitz actually played okay this major. This is like the best Blitz has played all year. He still couldn't win.
Yeah, I just like it, looking at the current position of the team, and like any pending rumors. I think this is pretty much what I expected. I think I can be disappointed that they didn't punch up, but at the same time, like they could have just bombed out as
Sure.
well. So like, I'll cut my losses basically. That's why I'm not that mad. But apart from that, I don't really think there's much to talk about in terms of the teams that lost here. Like the biggest one was
Let's go to the
Navi.
playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we can probably
Yeah.
move on to the playoffs.
Mongols.
Yeah, go on, Yosh.
No, Mongols. Actually, yeah, I want to go back to Mongols now. Like,
Yeah, before we move on.
time for another round. But the Vitality finally fell off. This was our biggest chance. All Mongols had to do was fucking practice, just at the same form as 2025.
I just don't
they'll
think it's
get me, like,
possible though.
Yeah, it's possible. Like, Senzu isn't even the biggest factor of the team.
That's true.
Mongols has always been more of the system and the combined firepower than
Yes.
a single superstar.
Sure.
I think it was possible.
Yes,
All
they,
they have
they
to
made,
I agree
they
with
made
you.
Budapest playoff with controllers. Like the system is a bigger factor than Senzu himself.
The problem with
himself.
Mongols and why the system doesn't work is Cobra is different in the sense of top that the Mongols map pool never was that deep. They literally have no home maps. They have no like reliable maps.
They did, and then they gave
Like,
him.
remember
They like
Mongols-
choked him. They had Mirage, and then I don't know why.
Yeah, Mirage and
They had
Ancient. are the
Mirage and
Mongols now.
Ancient. They used to be like
Maps.
best in world level at those
Yeah.
maps, and now they have zero good maps.
No,
They
you
have zero maps
reminded
in
me
the pool.
just now exactly
Yeah,
what my problem was.
but that's the thing that Yosh said. Like, why are they no longer that good on their good maps? Because they didn't fucking practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's
They're telling
Yosh
me,
hit
they're
the
telling me that
Yosh
it's
hit
not.
the
No.
Yosh hit the nail on the head. The problem was a lack of practice because they got the opportunities with the brackets in this major, and the reason they didn't get to the playoffs is because they didn't practice enough, and so their best
Okay.
maps weren't their best maps anymore.
Sure. But I think those issues you started before the major, but that's not the point. No continue.
Like, it's instead of doing what they're paid to do and play the game, they play. I think they played like Getting Over It or some other friend slop in the middle of the tournament. They streamed that shit. They streamed friend slop in the middle of the tournament while they are still choking to tier 2 teams.
That is fucking
No, the
funny.
crazy part is that Getting Over isn't one of the good friend slots.
That's
The
true.
crazy part.
There's no friends in Getting Over.
Like,
bro.
it's not Peak. It's not freaking Mecha Chameleon.
Peak,
It's not even like.
Yeah, I think they
Repo,
played
it's not
Yeah,
like-
it was peak, right?
It was peak. Yeah, I mixed it up. I mixed up the two games.
Oh, if it was
Yeah,
Peak, okay, that's actually going. I was usually Getting Over. I was like, bro, that's a 2-player game. You're 5 teams in the league.
the
Oh,
nine
yeah,
the
yeah,
videos
yeah,
that you kept posting, Yosh, the 9-10
Definitely.
gambling sponsorships. Where
Yeah.
you're just like sitting there and just like
God.
They're like Mr. Piccolo. They just stand there and aura farm and then get their backs blown out by every opponent.
yeah.
Oh,
I
I was
mean,
just-
listen, if it's rough to contrast between the media and what they're doing in the server does suck, though. I will say, listen,
Like-
one thing you got wrong: they're not paid to play; they're paid to wear Mongolian fashion brands.
I was scrolling on Instagram earlier, like while we were setting up the podcast, and I see like one of their sponsors just showing Techno playing some horror game or shit. They don't even play the game anymore.
They got ice cream now, though. They got ice cream.
They have a space program. They have ice cream. They have drip, but no games.
All right, I think that's a listen. Let's
PlayStation 5 as a team.
let's
PlayStation 5.
No games. They play no games.
less sponsors, more boot camps. That's the
They play
prescription.
no games.
Anyway, let's.
That was a good one, Yosh. The PlayStation 5 team. That's good.
Exactly.
If you look at all the games, they could have went 3-0. Mongo should have gone 3-0. Like
No. They were not going to be
if they
Spirit.
practice,
Come on.
They could have beat. I think they could have beat Spirit. To be honest with you.
No, if they practice,
No.
they definitely would
If
have
they practice,
won 3-0.
if they
Like,
practice.
Spirit aren't even their best one.
Bro,
They
they
could
would
have.
have shot them on the building.
Potential team. Anyway,
They should have tooled Batboom. They should have tooled
They should have-
Navi.
they should have beat
They
them.
really should have
Bro,
tooled
no,
YZ.
Yosh. They got lucky to beat Win Dust 2. They should have lost that match. They didn't play better.
now the point being they could have
If
played
they
better
practice.
if they
practiced, they would have been
practiced.
better. Yeah.
They practice.
They still couldn't have beat Spirit with
Also,
practice, but they could have
Yosh,
beaten
Yosh.
everyone else.
Yosh, you also consider that Beppo don't have their full 5. They don't even have a full
Bedboom
5.
don't have a full
You also-
5. I'm not gonna hear this.
There's no such
That's
thing as
my
a
point
Bedboom full
exactly.
5.
All because they're too busy
They're a standing
aura.
they're a standing team though.
Yeah, exactly. That made them
Almost every
better. That's if they had their original roster, they would not have made it this far.
It wouldn't have
they
even
don't
made
have
the major.
No. They wouldn't. They don't even have the original standing 5 with Thomas. They had the freaking weird scuff dealing his flops without Siren.
Yeah, don't worry. Like
Actual 5.
Although Diladas was low-key better than Siren.
yeah, it's a.
But
We'll,
he did for the
we'll move
roles.
on to the.
That's not the point,
we'll
though.
move on to the playoffs before we talk about
you-
Mongols
Can I
not
make a point?
practicing.
point?
This team is top 3 if they practice. They
Okay,
definitely were that
chill,
good. And then they
chill.
threw it all away.
Yeah, but also,
They-
Yosh, trust me, this is before Falcons got Kerrigan. This is before Spirit got an actual coach who isn't garbage like Hallie. This is before Navi got better.
let's pause on
Come
the Spirit thing. We
Yeah.
don't know what's going on with
they
that
beat
coach.
these teams. They beat this team last year.
They did.
With
They did.
Spirit with fucking washed up Chopper who was trash and got kicked. Stop it. Like,
Listen, let's chill on the Spirit conversation because we can talk about the Spirit conversation now. We're moving on to the playoffs. So I'll go just to because there's not that many matches. We can just go match by match. We can talk about Team Spirit versus G2
can I go first?
Esports.
I
Yeah,
actually
go
have,
on.
I actually have a pretty basic point. The biggest winner of this major was Boomich.
Well, that depends on if he
Yes.
gets a job after this. That's not Bedboom.
No. Even if Boom like stayed the same, they're still a decent team.
Yeah.
But Boomich, this is the most because we can talk about Falcons winning. We talk about this other stuff that are probably really cool, right?
Yeah,
but like Boomich got the most from this major. Like if major exists, Boomich got the most stock objectively because Falcons were already gonna contend. Irregardless, even if they fought this major with kicks, they would have at least a chance. But like Boomich went from stage 1 with a standing roster. Remember, they started the year with Art Frost and Dilladas, right? The starting lineup.
Yes.
Then, because of Dilladas had had like visa issues, and because Art Frost had long-term visa issues, like I still don't think they fixed it even now. And Zorte was already on the bench before, if you remember, when they swapped him Art Frost like 6 months prior.
Zorti was playing in this
You feel like some weird mixes, yeah.
in this NAVI Last Dance, this TDK team.
Yeah, but it was on an org, so it was like basically on loan. It was weird. But the point is, they had him like Zorte pretty much. They restayed Zorte, and they qualified the mid somehow. They won a lane over G2, by the way. People forget this. They actually won a tournament over G2. They got stuck in that stake event. They crushed GL. Had a really close foul against G2 as well. They just beat Vitality. And you get okay, this team would actually cook. Then Siren can't make it. So now they bring back Flops because Flops was going to play the major. The initial plan was to put Dildo as a Siren. That was the initial plan. And Flops was going to get the sticker money because he earned it fair and square. He wasn't going to play the major. He was on vacation, literally. He said they didn't even practice this major. They had like a day of practice, like A maps and stuff, and like basic like drills, and that's literally it. They didn't even have real practice for this lineup. And from stage 1, 3-0 by the way, stage 2 only losing to Spirit, and they got to stage 3 of the major, and includes beating Falcons in the best of 3. Like yes, they got clowned in the playoffs. We can question that, whatever. But like Boomich's stock rose so much because he fragged in stage 1. You know why the Foot couldn't win that best against Bet Boom? You know why? because Boomich fucking annihilated them in that best of 3. He fucking farmed them. It was crazy. Did you watch that game?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He fucking Boomich farmed them in that Mirage
I
game.
was
He
there.
won like
It's
every clutch.
fucking crazy.
And you know why Boom didn't get 13 on that new game? Because Boom won like 3-1 on 2s in that game. He won like so many clutches that new game. They really didn't get 13-0'd. Like, yeah, you say, oh, he had like what 0-14 on Anubis. They shouldn't even get to that quarterfinal. What are we talking about? He like farmed stage 1. He even played like a couple maps where he showed up. I think he was even decent in the Falcons series they won. Like Boom was fragged. He called well. Like no one's calling. No, he doesn't have like an all-time great coach. He's fierce. He's his goddamn coach. He doesn't have some crazy all-time coach. Yes, we'll give credit to Flawless. Flawless played very well. Flawless probably still suck at BP contract jail, sadly. Free to homie, obviously. But like, and Mag just had some good series. Like Mag just farmed Falcons, for example. He absolutely annihilated them in that series, right? But other than that, he was a bit more up and down. Zorte was terrible this major, and they still got to play us with a terrible op. Like, I think he had a 0.8 for the tournament, something crazy. Or like all his age, he might have been like 0.8 something. He was terrible. And like Dildas had maps where he showed up, but he wasn't a star. He might have like a 1.0, like 6 or something. Like Boomich was the reason they got this class. It wasn't MongolZ. He was good, but he wasn't like a star. It wasn't Flawless. He had impact, but he wasn't like he was good, but he wasn't crazy. Boomich literally dragged a team of randoms to the playoffs of the major. This is the most insane, like this is up there with Alexi getting ends to a major final, like because like literally impossible shit that should not happen.
I mean, all of that would be true if they didn't lose to Aurora in the quarterfinal, in my opinion.
Okay, and Aurora's a better team. Aurora's an actual 4-5. Aurora's like the 6th best team in the world. They're a much better team.
That's true.
Yeah, like Aurora was such insane favorites in that game, and like Flamus.
I would have liked them to do a bit better.
Yeah, but
no,
like
bro,
Flamus completely choked this game, and like
yes,
it happens. Like they just weren't ready for the stage because nobody thought they could get there. I don't give them too much shit.
No, I don't give them shit. I mean, it's a miracle they were ever there.
And like
they beat Falcons on land without a full 5. They 2-0'd them.
Yeah, but the Falcons won the major, so like it's whatever.
Bro, they beat MongolZ on a full 5.
I give them credit for these wins. Like it's incredible work.
Yeah, no, that's more impressive than Falcons winning the major. That's the best run of the whole major. Like that's crazy.
Listen, I'm a hater of Falcons as good as anybody, but I have to give them credit for the major. I have to. Like there's no.
Yeah, Falcons run was amazing. I'm just saying, Bedroom had no business being even this close this far.
Obviously, like relative to expectations, of course.
Like people tell me what best Cinderella runs ever. It's like, oh, no. People tell me best Cinderella runs in major history. People say, oh, Ents Catavista, because that run was amazing. They beat fucking NAVI.
I know that
Boston.
This is just a
this is up there.
Subjective experience. A run to a major being a run to a quarterfinal. It's the same thing for 9Z. These are very impressive runs, but like
no, but 9Z is a full
5. No one's really gonna remember them. I don't think they will.
9Z had a full 5.
Yeah, I know, but like, I think they played better because they didn't have a full 5. Like, I can't like.
I mean, in terms of modern major history, the Bedboom run will definitely be remembered because it's only the second time ever a team made it from stage 1 to the playoffs, and the first one was FaZe that never should have been
the best Cinderella run ever. Like
a team that should have never been in stage 1 in the first place with FaZe. That was just because they fucked up the season before. Like this was like a miracle they even qualified for the major. They needed to get second in that stake ranked for
third, I think. They still had to win a Roman event. They still had to win a Roman event over G2, by the way.
Yeah.
That was during the run.
Yeah, and they got second in the stake ranked, lost the final to G2.
Yeah, they did,
well.
but they only had to get like 3rd or 4th or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. But still, they got second anyway. Yeah, you're right.
But yes, like Zorte was bad, and I don't in general rate the team that highly. But the thing is, the thing with that major is the people that benefit the most from it is magixx, who was seen more as a paper tiger before and confirmed in this major that he can be a legit star player, and of course, as you said, Boomich. Boomich gets the most credit of anyone for this run.
Yes.
And like even if Spirit doesn't really need to change their IGL at the moment. So like Boomich might not get the Spirit job, even though he maybe deserves it after this run.
Yes.
What the least thing that this run should do is make every Russian talent that isn't on Spirit want to be on a team with Boomich. And like, I hope that since they're obviously not the XSE Pro League, so their player break is going to be delayed as well, that once they have their player break...
To be fair, BetBoom aren't at on a bounty, to be fair, so they're going to take a break.
Yeah, like once they have their player break, that like whoever makes decisions on that roster is gonna find the best 5 Russian players and assemble them on this team that aren't on Spirit.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like a legit long-term top 10 team. I hope that's what comes from this run, and that Boomich can like fully complete the arc of reviving his career.
Yeah, that's
like
that's what would make it
just
memorable
really
for me.
good.
I think if it's just like if nothing happens out of any of the pieces from, I'll give 9Z the same position.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen. I'm not saying they need to start like being like top 5 teams. That's a bit much, but they have to at least either Boomich or like the core or something like this. They need to stay in the conversation for it to mean something to me. Like, obviously, it's very impressive by itself.
If really nothing happens, then this is just gonna
that's what I mean. That,
some CS pub quiz question.
Exactly.
Like
it'll be like a trivia
story of how two stand-in BetBoom players made first the run to qualify to the major and then all the way to the playoffs. That can be anything
with
between
with
then an extra stand-in. Like it can be anything between CS pub quiz material to like the story of
it could
how
be like a
Boomich
career
revived his
revival,
career, depending on what happens in the next 3 months.
But either way, it's undeniable. I think both for BetBoom and 9Z, like this was incredible and unexpected. Like obviously in different ways.
Sure.
But
Yosh, anything you want to say?
Oh, and I think the biggest loser of this entire playoff is justice and the goodness and like just anything that makes humanity worth it. Yeah, and the biggest winner of this playoff is just evil hatred and every single leader and general of the Axis powers in World War II.
Sure.
They've demonetized. They've demonetized my podcast. They're putting it down.
Bro, the biggest loser is Zai won that third map. Zai won that third map on Dusters, but he's losing the whole major, bro. If Zai would just plug in his keyboard, they win the major, bro. I promise they just win. They plug in the keyboard, they spank the Spirit, they don't lose the Spirit, and they won the major. And Zai doesn't drop like a 0.8 in that third map. I think they just won the major.
But to be fair, they do also lose 2-0 if Zai
exactly. That's I was gonna say. Zai would like hard carry that Inferno game, to be fair. Hard carry.
Like literally 1v9 that Inferno game, and then unfortunately didn't show up on the last map.
The problem is that was like the one good map. Mezzi had the whole major, and it was wasted, bro. So sad.
I'll take a brief detail because we're gonna spend the rest of the podcast probably talking about the big names. So a quick, moment on Aurora and FURIA, because they're the other teams on the outside of the bracket. I think Aurora, they, to be honest, even though they were a top team, I didn't really expect them to do that much. And at the end of the day, they didn't even do that much. Like,
and they did fine.
Yeah, they did fine.
Aurora
they did about
what
you
the ultimate
expected.
gatekeeper. Aurora basically what MOUZ were before they got Brilliant, where they're like the ultimate gatekeeper. Where if you beat Aurora, you're probably one of the best teams in the world, right?
Yeah,
in
like
the playoff game,
if you
right?
look like that,
and if you lose to Aurora, you're not a good team.
The closest Aurora did to do anything was that Spirit game in the group stage, and even that was like, whatever. Like they beat Monty, G2, 9Z. These are like good. Like the Monty one is like okay, but the G2 and 9Z is like, all right. And then they beat BetBoom in the playoffs and lost to FURIA, and it was.
They did pretty much what I expected from them as like
given the bracket.
Like the gatekeeper team. Yeah.
Given who they faced,
they did exactly what they expected, and like they got the right. They took the right lessons from this major and are now changing players. They got in KSCERATO, JimFat, and Ash.
I'm surprised that unless this was like major decided this after the games, I'm surprised that they didn't like make a song and dance about this being major's last thing, because I don't see major coming back. Like this announcing this.
He said it said in the announcement as well. He's gonna do some other role for Aurora. I assume he's gonna take the Chopper arc and become a streamer. which he
Yeah.
can do from home and be a better dad at the same time. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, and it clearly was known that it was the last dance because of the way they reacted after they lost with
Yeah,
the
Walksy was
crying and
crying,
stuff.
bro.
Yeah, like it was clearly known that this was the last dance, and they did as well as could be expected. And they made, I think, very good changes. I think Aurora can be a real threat
Yeah,
next
we'll
That's
season.
true.
We'll talk about that later
Yeah,
on.
we'll do some like a little post roster move situation after that. On Furia,
The one thing I will say about
Yeah, go
Aurora,
on.
because I didn't get to say much,
yeah,
is I actually did a math, like just did pure records against like the field. The records against teams below the, because I consider there's clearly 5 best teams. You know which one I'm talking about, right? Below the teams, below the top 5, they have pretty good records. Like they're up on MongolZ this year. They went even against Paravision. To be Legacy both times they played them. To be Astralis both times they played them. To be G2 both times they played them. To be 9-0 up in this major. They have pretty good record against the field. And outside of losing to Heroic Bazaar that won a stunning game, ignoring that Dracula where they didn't have their coach, they pretty much only lost to like pretty good teams. Like they lost a game which like the start of the year where they played at Bound Line where they SoFi had like 90 ping if you remember. Like SoFi was playing like Dubai or something crazy. But other than that, like they pretty much only lost to good teams. The problem is the record against the teams, the 5 teams above them, I think it's like 3-13 or something.
yeah.
Something
They
ridiculous.
don't
Like,
punch
it's like
up.
a really bad record. No, because this might include MOUZ with they're down 1-3. Like they're 1-3 against MOUZ this year. They beat Falcons one time they played them. Fair enough, right? They're 1-2 against FURIA. They lost Spirit one time they played them this year, and they never beat Spirit by the way. They're like 0-5 against Spirit lifetime. They never beat Spirit before. They're 0-3 Vitality this year and they're 0-4 NAVI this year. So it's just more yes against the field they're pretty good. Like
Yeah,
they're
they're
pretty good.
the gatekeepers, exactly what we said.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think
what I mean.
I don't think we have to talk about Aurora too much more since they
Yeah.
just did exactly what we expected.
Yeah, we'll talk about the
Sure.
roster moves afterwards, but I don't have very much to say on Furia. I wish they would. The only thing I have to
Yeah.
say about Furia is I'm just very disappointed in that finals performance. Even though I don't
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
they
The
could have
thing
done
is-
that much more.
I think FURIA could win this final. Like
one
before
is-
the final started, I actually picked
I mean,
FURIA.
it's the best chance that would.
FURIA
It's
winning
the
this
best
final.
chance they'll ever have. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yes, I even said this one. Okay, to be fair, map pool wise, I actually wouldn't have minded Spirit because FURIA and Spirit have very similar map pool. If you're gonna get maps they want to play, like you're gonna get like if you're gonna get Overpass, they're gonna get Nuke, they're gonna get like Mirage, they're gonna get maps they want to play. Like the problem with the Falcons one is that they just couldn't win any pistols, bro. They had so many bad starts. They're not like 0-5 in like every map, bro.
Yeah,
We're playing too much Falcons with that much skill. They just couldn't be down. Like you can't. Like the Mirage, I think they're down 0-8. Like they just can't be down like that much because a team with that much skill. Like they're already over.
I'll give credit to Furia. Like I think the only thing that really needs to be said about Furia, I'll give them credit for not choking the easy side of the bracket like they did the last 2
Yeah.
majors.
that's true.
And I'll
They
give
almost did against
MongolZ.
NAVI though. They almost tried to get NAVI. They
Yes.
should've
Oh, I
lost
forgot to
2-0.
mention
They
the
should've lost
MongolZ
Mirage
Yes.
point.
game.
Yes, MongolZ actually did like this could be like the
Yeah,
beginning
and,
of his arc.
Like MongolZ played not that good the first 2 playoff series, but he played really
Yeah.
well in the final against Falcons when they had no chance anyways.
yeah, exactly.
Like
Mhm.
and him playing really well in a major final could be a big turning point. Like that's the other thing.
Yeah, it could be. It
Let's-
started.
The problem
hope.
is, if you're a team like Furia, you can't be giving up. Like I think they literally, I did the math. They didn't do a proper pistol conversion a single time in that series. The one good start they had was the
Yeah.
last half of Inferno where they won the 4th spot. Like literally, they lost both pistol conversions on Mirage. Won 8 rounds. They couldn't win. Anubis, they lost both pistol conversions, and they even had a good C half, and they couldn't win the game.
Yeah.
Inferno, they win the pistol, lose 2nd round. So they literally were down like 1-5 in like every half. They just especially a team like Falcons Falcons. I admit they won a lot of pistols in the tournament in general, but when you're a team like Furia and you don't have the firepower advantage, and Falcons have played the better tournament, you can't be giving up that many good starts. And Nico dominates you in the final. It's like no.
Yeah.
Like Monty literally had like 5 kills in that Inferno game, and they won without him. Like they just ran him over. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just a little like this was their best chance to make something out of the like fallen last year of
also,
play.
it's sad that KSCERATO, who's been their best player this year, just didn't show up to the final.
But that's
Like,
on.
yeah,
I'm gonna say
that
that's
was
on
good
at
him.
that point.
That's on him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like as someone who was there, like that's the biggest thing I noticed in the final is like how eye test wise, the most like striking thing in the final was just how badly KSCERATO played. Like he played even worse than his stats show in the final.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
like
he literally was playing so
he-
scared, bro.
he was super scared, super lost, like didn't do fucking anything. He was the worst player on the server.
Yeah. In a sense, it's
It was
it's the inversion of the MongolZ effect. Like this MongolZ Grand Finals performance shows me like he can have the fire and there's a future for him. I think like if he takes this and genuinely uses it as like motivation, there's like he could be back in a major final at some point. Like, but I almost see the opposite for KSCERATO. I feel like this was his best chance to like prove he's a high caliber player that he can be in the same conversations.
And you get to a major final, and instead of playing most likely Vitality best 5, pretty much an auto loss, or Spirit best 5, very hard against donk, right? You get Falcons, bro. You get Falcons with a new IGL, a best of 5, and you're a long lasting staying 5. And another thing that makes it sad is you're at the peak had like a really good map pool. People forget this. When they were the best team, they could go like everywhere in the pool. Like they could go like Overpass, Train, Mirage, they had Inferno, they had so many maps they're good on. And you can't win a map in a best 5 against Falcons, bro. Really?
But the veto was also ass.
The order was wrong, yes.
The order was completely wrong. They should have
the Mirage pick. I like the Mirage pick first. The problem is they should have done the nuke map 30. They should have made nuke the third map.
They should have started with nuke and let Mirage be the decider. Like picking
No. Falcons were bad on Mirage. They literally got like no.
Yeah, but FURIA was also garbage on Mirage. Like,
well, they won games on it.
I think
like, they didn't look good. Like when I saw them pick Mirage first, like even before the game even started, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Like. When I saw it first that they have like the first 2 of the first 3 picks, I'm like, okay, FURIA has a chance in this final. I thought they'd start with either Inferno or Nuke, and then pick the other one second, and then.
I think the problem is FURIA's Inferno was absolute ass. I've never been like FURIA haven't been good at Inferno all year. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Like,
yeah,
I get Falcons are bad on it, but like Falcons are losing to like good Inferno teams.
Yeah, I would have had Nuke first, then Inferno, and let Mirage go to the decider. That was what I thought would happen.
I think what I thought their plan was with this is that I think Fallen expected this to go to 5 maps and wanted to end like do an arc with the maps, right? So I think he wanted to put Inferno third, and then because he was expecting to win Inferno based on like the Kioski factor, but was previously true as well.
Falcons were bad on Mirage. They expected to win Mirage free. Like I thought that was the easiest map in the whole final for FURIA to win. Falcons couldn't win any.
I mean, not if you're playing the FURIA's strengths, because we don't know Falcons is like you're not in a good position to know Falcons' strengths with this IGL situation. Like it's if you're putting Carrigan in, I feel like all bets are off the table. You should play off your own strengths first, and. With that in mind, I think Fallen was like, okay, I want to ramp up so that if it goes to 5 maps, we're in the best position. I just don't think he just got shell shocked by Falcons nonstop.
I don't think you can expect the best of 5 to go to 5 maps.
But I think that was just Fallen's like a little bit of hubris from veteran experience. I think. Yeah. Because he's been in so many of them, right?
Also, keep in mind, when you're playing Falcons with the new IGL, you're expecting him to at least get one of the first 2.
I think he was expecting, to be scrappy, to be back and forth. I think he was trying to get that kind of game, and then it didn't end up. They didn't win the rounds that you need to win to make that kind of game happen. You know.
They couldn't win any pistols, bro. They were down like 0-5 and a half.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll touch on the G2 game. That was a great game, man. That was a fantastic game to watch.
But like to me, that was. It's sad that the first 2 maps Heavy played amazing, and they just didn't show up to the 3rd map. That actually hurt my soul. Like he played so good at Overpass and Dust 2, bro.
Yeah, and the third map was when that whole thing happened where he got community banned.
Yeah, it was bad.
He disconnected in the middle of a retake, which likely they would have lost anyways, because that was a very, very disadvantageous retake. But he disconnected in the middle of a retake, and then the game was paused forever because Heavy God's Steam account was community banned because of a mass report. And that was just a fucking fiasco, like this whole thing. And then after that, he also got unlucky a couple of times with like the placement of like flashes and nades exactly on him and stuff like that. But that community ban thing, like that whole incident, probably tilted him a bit as well, because he just didn't play as well on this one map than he did the rest of the tournament, and it still was really close. Like, this is probably, in terms of the quality of the games, this was the best playoff of a tournament I've ever attended. Like, there were so many fucking banger after banger after banger games, and that's usually not the case in a major playoff. Like, usually major playoffs, once a team gets too far ahead, the other team just chokes and it becomes a shitstomp. Like, this was great, and like the G2 Spirit game
the three games on that side of the bracket was some incredible stuff.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Yeah, they were incredible. Like,
We're literally gourmet.
I was very sad about the actual outcome of the tournament with Falcons winning it all, because obviously, like,
I mean, no one's sure if Falcons
Evil won, but the actual attending those games was like fucking cinema.
Yeah, 100%.
It was. They didn't. The air conditioning was way too low, so it was like 30 degrees, like on the stands, and being in there starting at like 4 p.m. and getting out at 1:30 a.m.
Yeah, a little heat stroke adds to the enjoyment. You know, it is what it is.
Fucking incredible experience attending that, and like the G2 Spirit game was the first one that was incredible.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I think talking on the team specifically, don't just G2. Like, I don't know if anyone really expected them to be here. They did the best. They did the best thing they could have, which was give us a show.
But the problem is, this just felt too much like a heavy got carried.
I mean, that's what the team is, though. To be honest with you.
Obviously, yeah.
Like, what is G2? Like, Mattis to me is I don't know what to think about Mattis.
He's being
got
used
potential.
completely wrong.
He's got
being
potential.
used completely out of position at the moment. But they are seemingly changing something since.
Oh god, I forgot Wrinkle joined,
didn't they? Okay, never mind.
Joined.
It's gonna stay the heavy god shop probably.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Whatever, never mind. I'm down on G2 for the next season. Yeah. I forgot about the wrinkle change. Yeah.
They'll just be a streaky team. I mean, streakier now, even. Like, it's a team.
Okay, I will say the Spirit series, really, Surprise did show up.
Yes, I mean,
like, do his part.
He had his moments for once, but I'm
a Sampai's apologist anyways. So like,
everyone's got their flaws.
So like the G2 Spirit, like G2 did as well at the major as they could have, beyond like not choking Mirage and getting destroyed in the semifinal.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's better for the bracket that they did. I don't think G2 would have made a good semifinal game, to be honest.
Yes.
No, because the problem is like G2 played well, but I'm sorry, like there's a reason. Like, Heavy Up had to play too good, bro. Heavy Up played one of the best.
Heavy God is the only stable member of this roster. Yeah. That's the problem.
Like, it's not a problem. It's not just the stats, bro. He played, even the G3 they lost, he played well. You know, he had that deagle run on Ancient against Falcons. Yes. He killed like 3 guys in a row. Like,
Heavy God somehow is like the most stable and the playmaker in desperate situations. And like, he does literally everything, even beyond what he should be able to do in the roles he is. Yeah. And I think part of it is also...
The biggest story of this tournament isn't G2 playing well.
Yeah.
The biggest story is that this was like... I know it was a hard bracket. They got the hard opponent, but this was a missed chance for Vitality still. Like, I think literally it's not just Zyro, but like Flames, he played terrible this turn.
Yeah, we'll get to Vitality in a second. Just to round off on the G2 point, unless Yosh, you have anything to add on G2?
They did pretty well. Like, they're totally winner. Like, they're in good.
Yeah, they are
form.
winners overall.
Better than you expected for sure. I think just to round it off, the team itself, like with Hunter, Mattis, Nuts, and now I guess Wrinkle or some Pies. Take your pick. I don't really care. But it's a team built to be up and down. Like Heavy God is the only stable member on that team. And aside from like Hunter did some miracle weather we haven't seen from him for years on that quarterfinal, right?
Yes.
And I can't expect that ever again. Like that's not a predictable thing.
I will say that's the point that I also just wanted to make. Like they played a really good major, but the thing I'm glad about is that at least they realized that it was fool's gold and that this major run was a one-off. I am not glad, obviously, at what they changed, but I'm glad they're changing players because, as you said, like this is Heavy God and Friends very much.
Yeah.
And
go on.
The thing with me being a Sunpius apologist is I think there's at least 2, if not 3, bigger issues on this team than Sunpius. Because Sunpius is just Spanish G. He's really good at opping, but his stats are gonna always be terrible because he can't rifle at all. Like he was okay. But the problem is, Mattis is being used out of position. Nerds was set as a star player.
He's playing bad.
Like, he's just bad. He's being set up for everything and is just bad. The first player I would have kicked is Nerds. And the second player I would have kicked is Hunter because I don't think his calling is that good. And
the problem is they just added Nerds in like April, bro. You can't kick that.
That was a swap.
Kick him like 3 tournaments, bro. Yeah, it's off from Nurse MongolZ. Yeah, it's just
so I think just a round of G2. My like final point, and this is like a slight maybe tinge of sadness point, is that I just expected or hoped a Saw team would be a bit more stable than this team is right now. And I understand like he's kind of playing to the team's strengths because he's got Hunter and he's got like a bunch of riflers running about and he has to manage these like messy players, right? Effectively.
Just don't think the players are good enough though. Like I give Son more shit about the assembly of this roster.
The assembly is the
I think no. Are we talking about like in roles or like purely on paper? I think that's a very important distinction.
I mean, I don't know. I think the best
not on paper in terms of how well they're actually playing. Like Nerds on paper is a decent player, but he's just not good. Like he doesn't have the firepower at the moment.
I think Nerds is like peak paper tiger.
Nerds, sure, but the thing is, I actually think if you give me purely the names, I actually think this is one of the most skilled teams in Counter-Strike. Purely like you just give me the names, regardless of like roles and stuff. Like if in theory, Sunpius is my 3rd best player. If like Matt actually shows up, if Nerds shows up, Sunpius the 3rd star is actually pretty tolerable. You can tolerate Sunpius as your 3rd best player. Problem is that Matt's out of position. Hunter is baiting like a motherfucker. He's evil baiting. My guy will literally refuse. He's always last alive or second last alive. Him and Heavy God. It's actually Heavy God's allowed to bait because he's amazing. He actually wins clutches, but Hunter's evil baiting. It's crazy how much he's baiting, right?
He won a few clutches to make up for it, but yeah.
Hunter in the playoffs, sure, and he has the odd map where he does it, but he baits so much relative to the fact that his team doesn't have that much firepower. Like he actually needs to put more emphasis on
he himself isn't good enough to be the baiter.
Yeah,
like
he's no blame F.
If you're baiting as an IGL and calling this much around yourself, you better be blame F on big.
Yeah, that's like, the only.
You gotta find Glaive or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a legit fighter.
But Hunter's not that. Hunter calls too selfishly. I would have replaced him, but like the way this team, if they don't make any more changes, then G2 will fall out of invite range. I don't care. Like they just downgraded their opera and called it a day.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose the next like small LAN they attend, 100%. Because they will need to get the points. Because they're going to get them from the big events, guaranteed. I think. Anyway, moving on. We'll talk about Vitality because the Vitality is also a quarterfinal loser because that was also the big major story, right? So it feels like we have to talk about them in some depth.
The 3-peat, yep.
You could tell just from the group stage, like they weren't looking themselves, and like the whole conversation about should they have taken this break, everything going on. Like
no, because the problem is they took it less seriously and super try hard. They might have been burned out. Yeah,
who knows?
It's too. I find the whole discussion about like Vitality a bit too hindsight.
Yeah, it's like because if they won, we would have been saying it's a genius move, right?
Because they looked bad in the group stages of most of the tournaments this year, apart from like Krakow
No,
and
no,
one
they
or two at the
farmed.
very start.
No, they farmed Rotterdam. They didn't drop a single map the whole tournament.
Yeah, like but even already at like
It's been
Rio and stuff. If
it's
I
been
remember
something that
correctly,
we've seen happen
yeah,
before.
they've always had like a bit of a shaky group stage this year for the
Yeah.
most part, with like one or two exceptions, and then
Yep.
they locked in for the playoffs. One maybe close game, and then stomped the rest of the bracket. And all that happened
Yep.
this time is that they didn't win that close game. Like, they lost 13-11 instead of winning 13-11. And there's
Yes.
a couple of factors that could have pushed that over the line, like Zywo not being bad on the last map, Flamesy having a better map, like Apex having a better call for the last round than to just like stand
cat
around
exec.
and do a cat exec against a bad buy. Like if Apex has a better call in that last round, they go OT and probably win that. And if they win, if they win 13-11 instead of losing 13-11, or they win OT instead of losing 13-11, then I guarantee you they stomp the semifinal, they stomp the final, and we're saying, oh, Vitality is the best team ever. Look what geniuses they are for taking that break. Best era of all time, and all the
Yes.
only difference is win 13-11 or lose 13-11.
Exactly.
Like, yes, there's a couple things that need to be discussed, but going into next season, I wouldn't overrate this result. Vitality's just gonna win 3 or 4 more tournaments
I agree,
next season.
to be honest, because even this was the worst that they've looked like in an important match in like pretty much forever, and they still were basically about to like do the classic. They were one step away from doing it. Was 3 13-11s in the quarterfinal, right? It literally could have gone either way.
Yes.
So, and this was, I think it feels weird to say that they'll come back to normal, because like how many bounce backs can you really have? But like at the same time,
Vitality did bounce back second half of last year. Right? They weren't winning tournaments for
exactly.
months.
The fact that
And
they
and then they won the major.
Yeah.
I just have to
And
wonder if the
other thing
hunger is
is
still there.
they had their vacation already, so they'll probably be working really hard through the player break.
My only worry,
or start a week or two early, and then they'll just be back. Like they won't
my
make the
biggest
mistake of letting off the gas again.
My biggest issue with Vitality is that they did lose Overpass. And that was their best map, because they started dropping Dust 2 with this tournament. They hadn't played much for into the major, if you remember. They hadn't played it that much, like during like their America's trip or even in Rio. So that's not they won 3 times this event, but the Falcons game was close. Again, they went 0-3 on Dust 2 with this tournament. They lost to 9Z, MOUZ, and Falcons. They are now 0-4 and lost 4 on Anubis, and they lost their best map in Overpass. That actually is a concern. Like a real concern. Like
and Cash is kind of ancient.
That is a real concern. That's a real concern. I agree with that. And like also they like the problem with that is that obviously it's not going to fix itself, because they did lose a couple of those maps, but I think they're just going to be working on exactly that in the player break. And that's this fixing maps on the fly constantly, and like being one step ahead of the competition when they have prep time. That is one of the big strengths of Vitality. Like
absolutely,
I expect them to do the correct things in the player break and just be the best team again.
Yeah,
and overall, not because I think Vitality will be perfect, because listen, think about it for a second, right? Okay, Spirit 2 gained from not having overpass anymore, because Spirit like stopped playing at the end. But the problem is Spirit has such a bad map pool matchup with the Vitality, because all the maps Spirit want to play are the maps the Vitality want to play. So it's just such a hard. It's like the Team Astralis thing, where Team are a good team, they just have the worst draw into Astralis. So I just have no faith Spirit could beat Vitality in the direct matchup. Then like, okay, now they have their own map pool problems you mentioned before. Falcons have no map pool. Falcons have the weakest map pool of a team that won the major since like 20 Boston maybe.
Yeah, but we just have so little data on it. Like it's all we have is old IGL data, right?
Play, really.
So like, how do we even know, right?
Because of lack of data, and also because they had to win a lot of close games. They just started playing Anubis at this tournament, really. Like,
So
Yeah,
there's
it's-
so
I
little
think
data
this-
on the maps.
I think this is, by the way, already like foreshadowing a bit for discussing Falcons. This is the most
Yeah.
obvious flash in the pan major ever.
Yeah.
Unless
Yep.
they seriously improve in many aspects in the player breaks, they will
Yes.
not win another tournament with all the best teams
Yeah, I
in the
think
next 6
Sure.
months.
Well, okay, we'll focus. We'll wrap it up and get Thomas Gray and then talk about
one
Falcons.
some final point. Yosh, you have any final thoughts on Vitality before we give the Falcons conversation a go?
I think they're finally beginning to fall off, but I'm gonna say this, and they're gonna win like the next 3 or 4 tournaments.
Yeah,
but
predicting against Vitality is always tough.
I still think the era should be ending now. Like people. the
And
teams are
also
catching up.
another thing that keeps me in Vitality's boat is I still know a single team in the field, and this includes Falcons, that I'm like, yeah, they could beat Vitality at best of 5. Even with no overpass, even with their issues on Dust, even with their issues on Anubis, the field doesn't have the map pool depth, and I include Spirit in this one, to win
Yeah.
best of 5s, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Which is Vitality have to keep not getting to the final. That's the thing. If they get to the final, they win the final. They should just keep being
Yes.
denied before the final. That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have to talk about them. Falcons.
But I
go on.
respect Yosh for wanting the Vitality era to end and like manifesting it. I respect it.
No era is made without the haters of the era. That's what makes it good, right? If everyone loved it, then
Yes.
it wouldn't be very exciting. But
Yeah.
we have to talk about Falcons. We have to talk about
I would rather have a 10-year Vitality era than Falcons winning even one tournament.
I mean, I guess so.
but I feel like we should give Spirit a shout. Spirit played good this tournament.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about Spirit, but
Spirit like 6-0 in the Spirit. They played good. The Jiu-Jitsu
Spirit
close,
played
they
good
won.
until the Falcons game, where Donk
No,
just
the team
didn't
played
show
well.
up.
Donk let them down.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
once.
The team played
Donk-
good. Donk let them down.
For once.
Don't let them down completely. Like the thing with Zybu had 2 bad maps in that
1.5.
series.
No, because the Anubis game, I can't say Zywu lost the Anubis game. That was a team meltdown. That was not
but I mean, Zybu didn't lose them the game, but Zybu had a
He couldn't help and he
relatively
didn't,
to his
yeah.
level bad game.
But also, he did get the thing about Anubis, and I'm saying this as someone who's played it a lot, is Anubis. It's really hard to have a star performance on Anubis. It's really hard.
Yeah.
You get mollied off all the time. You know what I mean? Backpack.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really hard
yeah.
to be a 30 bomb on Anubis. So I
Yeah,
actually that's a map where I don't blame the stars. That's a Vitality. They got out gameplay. I don't. So I would throw the
Yes.
third map. It's us 2 individuals can win the game in that
It's
map.
true.
Yes. But the point is, Zybu had two bad maps, like two maps with
Yeah.
bad stats. Even
Donk was
though
bad on all 3
Anubis
maps,
probably
bro.
That's true.
Donk was bad on all 3 maps. Yeah, that was the point I was getting to. Like Donk did not have a single Donk map this series,
Yes.
and that is also foreshadowing once again on the Falcons talk, like why this is such a flash in the pan. You had a playoff run where Zybu didn't show up, then Donk
MongolZ
didn't show up,
in their seeding game
then
either.
KSCERATO didn't show up.
Okay, well,
Excuse me?
the
How
KSCERATO
often
one,
is
I
that
think
gonna happen?
KSCERATO one, I think is predictable, but the Zywu Donk one, 100%.
Yeah.
Also, MongolZ was bad that whole series too, and then
Yeah,
that close
it makes
seeding
it
game,
sound
too.
better.
Yeah, it makes it sound better. And before that, MongolZ didn't show up in the NAVI series too.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
That is also the thing. Like if all the best players from all the best teams just decided to not show up, and I don't care, KSCERATO is still the best player on FURIA, not MolDoy.
Well, that might
KSCERATO
change.
was amazing.
But
KSCERATO was amazing, bro.
one thing
Yeah.
on Spirit, even though it was sort of like the one point of difference as well is that Spirit, if you compare the game planning of Vitality versus Spirit, Vitality clearly doesn't specifically plan around the Zywu performances because they've built this robust structure around the actual team itself, and then they know that they have players that can pop off here and there. Whereas Spirit not as much as before maybe, but they definitely still rely a lot on round game plan breakdowns are often does Donk do anything? If yes, we'll do the right thing. If not, well shit, we have to figure something out. There's a lot of the game plans do boil down to that, but I will say that I think that magixx has been improving game by game. I actually have a lot of hope for
Yes.
magixx IGL. They just got to figure out what's going on with this Zontix, Tenir. They got to arrange this shit in the right order and maybe do a roster and maybe not. Maybe wait until the end of the year. I'm not sure. But
I would run this team.
yeah,
for
I would give it another. I would let magixx work with the same roster to get some stability of system and like really know if Zontix is like cooked or not. Because my eye is on Zontix right now, as a player that's in important
Zontix
roles
is on the hot
and
seat.
letting the team run.
Because Zontix and Tanir had hell of a lot of role overlap. Before they came on the same roster, right? Like before Zontix rejoined. And Zontix got almost all of his favorite spots back, and now he is like clearly Spirit's worst player anyways. So he is like on mega fraud watch right now. And if Spirit doesn't win any tournaments, I would even say by the cutoff to qualify to the next major, or like halfway through the season even, try replacing Zontix, because it is kind of incredible. I give magixx a lot of credit for that this series was so close. Like both of the maps Spirit lost was in overtime, despite donk having a historic no-show. Like he never does this in big playoff series.
Yeah, we haven't seen that before.
Thing,
just doesn't show up. And Zontix was terrible. He could not kill anything, and they still lost both of the maps they lost in OT. Like Shiro had a great series, of course, but I also credit a lot of this on magixx's calling being way better than usual.
Yeah, Bola, you were saying something?
Another thing that is important actually is also Tanir was terrible this major. Like he literally didn't show up to the tournament. Like,
he did. He actually he had his moments. He had his moments in maps.
He had rounds, but no.
His best game was probably the semifinal they lost.
Yes,
but apart from that, he was pretty bad.
He had good lurks at points.
The reason why it's significant is because like before Rio, he was playing terrible. And Rio played amazing. Astana, the groups he had some issues, but the playoffs he was really good, right? So you're thinking, no coach, but you think, figure out Tanir, right? Like, bro, like Tanir was selling for most of this time. He did play a little better in the Falcons, but he still wasn't playing like star level. And considering how close we were getting donk no show, and Spirit had match point on Anubis. People get this. Shiro won that clutch. They got him 12-11 up. I think even that the overtime, the final round, there gets like a garbage buy, and Kerrigan won an MP7 duel against magixx long range with an AK. Remember that crazy duel when he came on camera? Like, it was crazy. Like, and then that kill distracts the two players on A, which lets Kyosuke to get the flank. Like, bro, all that. And so that Falcons won both pistols on Anubis. Pistols and conversion, and they won an eco in the first half, where they kept swinging the guys in.
We'll get to Falcons and all the impossible shit that had to go right for them to win this major. But
crazy, yes.
But on Tanir, I think the thing with Tanir is there has to be some kind of a Sotvik factor here, because Sotvik wasn't at this major, and Tanir was immediately laid back to shit. I think Tanir needs this kind of reinforcement, like positive reinforcement, that he has to go for these kind of plays by himself and not just wait for donk to do something. And probably Sotvik in those two tournaments kept reminding him in the timeouts to do something. Maybe even told him what plays to go for, something like that. I wanna see if this kind of sentiment, if that holds true at the start of the next season, that Sotvik gives him these kind of adjustments between the rounds to make him play better.
Yeah, is it confirmed that Sotvik is behind them? Because the announcement was very ambiguous. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, if Sotvik is the actual coach standing behind them for the future, then I want to see if he can continue being that Tanir whisperer.
Yeah, we can't. But if Halley comes back, bro, I don't know what I'll do.
Then Tanir can definitely stay on this team.
I think there is a future.
I just don't know about Zontix.
One last thing I will say: I was in a VC. You know the legend Bob Babinski, right?
That guy.
Shiro Stan, the GOAT, right?
Yeah. Obviously,
that's the homie right there. Right. I was in the talking encounter Discord. Maybe it was Maui's Discord, right? Yeah. And I was talking with him, my homie Slime, Bob. We were watching the game on the VC. It was the Dust 2 decided. If you watch this Dust 2 game, Zontix sold this Dust 2 game down the stretch.
Yes.
When they were on T side, the amount of time
he just did some random shit half the time.
Every time there was
Yeah, bro. Every time they only had 2 on B, which is the correct call, right? And they went to the B site. The CT players like not even close to spawn, not even close to spraying them. Magic made a bunch of good reads. You know why they couldn't win around? Because all this was like feeding kills, pushing the
Yeah,
smoke.
he just
When
I
they do the
remember that
mid part
once.
of the push,
Was it
Jones is way too
mid
late.
doors that
Bro,
specific
I was
smoke
there.
push?
I attended that game. I saw it too. Like Zontix and Donk. Like Zontix first and Donk also second. That B-side defense fucking sold the game.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
No.
that,
I'm
that
talking about
was
the
the
second half.
nightmare
I'm talking
dude.
about the Spirit T. I'm talking about the Spirit T half where they literally went to the understacked B side. And Tessa died a bunch of times, by the way. Like if they went to the B, they got traded him every time.
Oh, you think
And like
Zontix also
Zontic,
sold on T side? Yeah, sure, probably.
yeah, remember he
I
had
was
that one
talking
round
about
where
him
he
selling
pushed
the
this.
CT side. Yeah.
One of the gun rounds, it had 2 rounds. One of them was the overtime against G2, where Zontic did a really bad. It was in the overtime where he did a bad smoke push in the tunnel smoke, and he gave a free kill Nerds, and then Nerds got like a 3K.
Yes, I remember
And then it
this.
got to the last round overtime where Dunk won the clutch. That was ugly. And then there was like 1 or 2 rounds where Magix would call the right round, where they went to the 2B stack or 1.5, because like would play like the window, for example, to look in mid. And like that's the right stack. They'll flash properly, Teslas would get traded. Sometimes you can get 0. And like Giannis would like not trade, and or he would push earlier than the mid players and just give up a free kill. Or one of the rounds, the mid player died, and Giannis was still lurking into the tunnel and was way too late.
Yeah, that was the thing that I noticed with Zontix on T side. I don't remember him going early. Maybe he did once, but
He did once.
the thing that I always noticed is that he's sort of he played this so passive and so scared, and Falcons knew that he was playing passive and scared, so that on a
Yes.
B split, both B defenders were only focused on the mid because they knew Zontix would be the last guy to make a play as the only tunnels player.
Yes.
They knew it was a B split, but the B defense wasn't split. Like they could both only focus on mid because they knew Zontix would just not make the
Like,
play.
That strikes me as
Rob
like
Seth,
a
they win the round.
Carriganism, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
Another round, I think it was one of the overtime.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
like
yeah.
they literally even killed Teslas on B, and Zontic was supposed to hold the door, and it was smoked, and Kerrigan just pushed it. Like Zontic didn't kill it. Like literally lost them around. It might have been in regulation even.
That was the last round of OT. I remember that. That was because there was a bad door smoke, and nobody held the planter side of that door smoke. They had 5 people on site, and nobody was holding the left side of that door smoke.
Yeah, because you could see it from that angle.
Kerrigan just ran out and killed the planter. Like that pissed me off so much as well. Bro, you have 5 people on site. You have enough people to watch everything, and don't watch the most common hero play.
Yeah.
There.
I think to round off the Spirit conversation, I think they still are in a good direction, in my opinion, for the next, like, especially considering like all of these problems we're discussing. There was no coach for them to take timeouts and reset and recalibrate their game plan at all. magixx was like you could literally see him overheating, trying to fucking fix this collapsing like team dynamic going on. And the fact that it looked relatively coherent despite all of these like real moments of issues, I think is still pretty impressive and good signs going forward. And for once, it feels like it makes sense what they need to focus on and what they will do if it fails, right? It feels very like, if Zontix doesn't work out, then we look for a replacement there. We'll restructure the roles in this way. But before, like, we just didn't know like what to do to fix the team because it felt like everybody was in the right place and still doing the wrong things. Like
the best move is to just swap Zontix for magixx. That would
if they do that, then they are cooking.
That would fix everything, because
that would actually make them the best team in the world if they do it.
Yes, like if they kick Zontic and get magixx, they can give Tanir his spots back, like his anchor spots that Zontic stole, and they can give magixx those 3rd star roles that Tanir has now. And I think they would both be better at their new roles. And like they just immediately
that's the other good thing as well. They have a lot of good options. The only problem will be if they can afford it, but I'm sure they can. So it'll be interesting.
They definitely can, and magixx is even Donk's best friend, so the vibes wouldn't even suffer either. Like I think that move just fixes everything on the spot.
It depends on what happens with that team as well. But the signs are good.
The way it is now in terms of predictive team rankings, I think Spirit is going to be the second best team
Yeah,
in the world.
I see
after
I see
Vitality
them
next
on the
season.
up for sure. I think we'll
Agreed.
round that one off for the future, and we have to finally talk about Falcons, and we'll talk about the
Wait, Yosh, you have opinion on Spirit?
Yeah. Basically, all you said, like they did, like kind of as expected for a team of their caliber.
Yeah, well, coach.
yeah.
So fair enough. Yeah. Next.
Oh, Falcons, we have to
Sure.
whether we like it or
just a
not.
heads up.
Yeah.
The room closing in 8 minutes.
If you need to
Sure.
leave early, that's fine. We don't have that much left to talk about, but we will maybe go for a bit longer than 8. I have to predict it. So if you need to go, that's fine.
Yeah.
No problem. But
I'll stay here for like 5 more minutes.
that's fine.
to
Yeah.
just-
If you want to give
Alright.
your final thoughts, like predictions, if you want to leave, if you're gonna leave, then you can have your piece now.
Oh, God. Like, depending on how like the things go, I might have more faith in TYLOO than MongolZ at this point.
That's rough, man.
No.
I don't have that much faith in TYLOO either. Like, oh god, Tikuak,
They have the
Tikuak's
pieces,
joining.
they
huh?
have the potential.
And Darkmeister.
Like they're about to win map 2 on XSE. They're currently
Yeah, they're up a lot.
12-7 up, yeah.
They're up 12-7. They literally need one CT round, and they're against a force buy. Like,
Yeah. They're about to get this to map 3 against 9Z.
Well, that's good.
yeah,
Some good things are still
best
happening.
map too.
Yeah, it's possible they beat 9Z in the best of 3 here, because, yeah, Inferno's the next map. Like, that would be quite a big
won it.
scalp.
Nice, GG's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would like say TYLOO has a better map pool than MongolZ at this point.
Damn.
Well,
Sure.
that is a crazy thing to say, but
That's dire.
yeah.
It's true though. It's actually true though. Like the good Mirage, Nuke, Inferno.
The fact that
that's
we're
more
naming
Mongols.
3 maps and that's a good map pool. The state of it, man. That's
Yeah.
that's horrible.
No, that's one more they're good at. They're good at.
That's
what's
more
that
than
other map?
Vision and Mongols combined.
That's
Oh,
true.
they
Yeah.
removed Overpass. No, they removed Overpass. Overpass was
It's fine.
from
Well,
TYLOO map.
Asian teams can play
Yeah.
cash. We're fine.
Cash, they were good in Cash.
They'll be good
from
at cash.
the
That's
first
just the
game, yeah.
firepower map. Like,
That
Yeah,
is
they're
like
good on
it's
4 maps.
all those horizontal duels, like the Jam Yang 1-taps, are gonna be crisp.
it's just ancient without the mid fight being like Molotov nade simulator as
Ass.
much. And there's no donut.
But yeah.
Also,
So
also
quickly
without
put my-
without the verticality. Of
Yes,
Ancient.
that's well.
But
They got one
we'll-
vent and one
we'll-
ladder. But that's about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
if we're gonna talk about Falcons quickly,
Falcons.
Yes.
I've had this take. Because
I have to
I'm gonna
go.
give
Can I
full
Yeah,
talk
credit.
that's
about
fine.
Falcons
That's
first?
fine,
I have
Yosh.
to
No
go.
problem.
Here, you got it.
Yeah, because like Falcons, it's just about time. Like with the pieces they had, the firepower, the money they had, like it was only time before they actually won something. So yeah, it's to be expected. They can't just keep losing forever. It
Yeah.
eventually had to happen.
Yes.
To some degree, but not this major. This was still a major for us.
They did stumble into this one sort of. So I'll just to recap
yeah,
their
let's-
prior run. Because that Bet Boom game. Remember we did mention it earlier, right? That's their only
Yeah.
loss in the tournament, which is funny. It is funny, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to MongolZ, the goat.
yes, but we're talking about their victories. They beat G2, Monty, Navi, Vitality, Spirit, and Furia. In terms of, and these are all
Yeah.
best of 3s because we got best of 3s in the last stage now, right? So whether
Yes.
whether we like it or not, that is like one of the better runs you could have at a major to win it.
This is the best major run of all time.
Yeah, like on
Probably, yeah.
on number value and
terms
on
of
team
opponent
value
quality,
I
alone.
even
yeah.
did the math. The 3 ones that are even close are C9 Boston, Astralis, Face It, and Navi Stockholm. And I have to take Astralis and Navi out because they were clearly the best team, just to take them off immediately. Which means you come down to C9 Boston and this one.
Well,
And
the
problem is,
Astralis one-
C9, some of the wins were best of 1s. Okay, Astralis was best of 1, and they didn't even play the full op. Remember, they had like Dupree op instead of device, if you remember.
Yeah, that was
That's already like an
nice,
asterisk. And FSK had Phelps instead of Bolts, and they're already winning turns with Bolts right before that. There's already an asterisk next to that, right? The G2 and FaZe ones were legit. I'll give them that. But like, even G2 was like a beatable opponent. That was never like an unwinnable game. The FaZe was such an upset, sure, but other than that, like the run is not impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
And then this Falcons would literally like getting swap Monty for like Mongols. This is about as hard of a run you can get Falcons. Like maybe swap like you can't maybe you know what I mean? Because remember
Yeah,
Monty was
the
standing,
only
like,
the only team that they could have player that they didn't like. Maybe I can't even really come up with a convincing name.
Maybe not. Maybe give Falcons 9Z, given they lost them at
Yeah, but
maybe.
whatever, right? Like I don't think anyone would really be convinced by that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you give about harbor run, you can give Falcons. Like, give any team even.
The only,
Like,
the
yeah,
only.
I
thing-
think-
For example, imagine it's just the nameplates off. Imagine me say this is a Vitality run, and obviously they play Falcons and Core instead of same points, right? They get G2,
Yeah,
Monty,
it would be,
Navi
we
in
would
the
be
2-1
like,
game.
it would be
Bedroom.
historic.
It would be better than any Astralis run.
Yeah, no, this run and the Astralis Face It run were the two most legit major runs of all time.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Yes, with Astralis Face It, it's a bit boring because they just beat everyone.
Yes,
But that's
And
just
that was just who they
good.
were. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar
Sure.
to Vitality at Austin. Like Vitality at Austin was also a mega legit run, but nobody will
Pretty good
acknowledge
run,
it.
Yeah.
Nobody will acknowledge it because
Literally
they
swapped
were so
Navi
much
for like
better.
Spirit, and that literally swapped Navi for like Spirit, and that's about as hard a run as you could have given them at the time.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
a pretty hard
and,
run.
like,
Like,
but people won't acknowledge it because they themselves were so much better than everything else. That was like the
Sure.
Vitality
That's what I
version
mean.
of the Astralis
But, like,
Face It major.
Falcons-
But this was among the most
is-
legit major runs of all time. For me,
Yes.
it's probably second after Astralis Face It. And
Astralis Face is good, but the problem here is like Astralis were so far heading into the major. They were clearly the favorites. It wasn't. even
Yeah,
close.
but I don't
but-
think
but
that.
yeah,
But
but
you
not the
can't
favorite
really.
for most of those games.
That's irrelevant to the
yeah,
matchup.
but that
though.
doesn't matter for me. Like,
Yeah.
It kind of does.
It depends. I think I can see
because
both sides.
It
though.
doesn't surprise you.
It's not
the
about.
way
no,
with
it's,
the underdog,
yeah,
it's more
it's not
impressive.
surprising. Yeah, this is
It's about the quality of opponent.
this is more surprising, but I didn't factor surprise into this calculation at all. Like just
Sure.
how legit the
I
run
Yeah, I
get
mean, if we're
was.
talking about
Face one's
surprise, then
legit
it has to be
playing
C9, right? Like,
Then the no. The problem is
C9 was
weird.
against like SK had a stand-in and like there was a
Astralis
couple
had like
other
not the full weird. Full
But I'm
five
saying
because
on the
of their
surprise
devices off,
level.
Boston.
even FaZe in the final had Olaf and Guardian already injured. Like there were a
okay,
couple
we're
of
putting
guys
too many
that-
caveats on it. Of course, it's surprising. You can say it's surprising.
Yeah,
Falcons-
it's
It's the
surprising.
most.
yeah.
It's the, is it not the
No,
most
no, no,
surprising
no.
major? What's
Brain,
a more
backpackbrain.
surprising
There's, like,
major?
no caveats to Falcons
the only caveat is Spirit had no coach. And that's the one thing that makes it less legit than the Astralis Face It run.
Yeah, but like at
Yes.
this point, we're
Still,
literally comparing it to the best of all time. So it's
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah,
we're
and,
rating-
and
and
Navi
you only
Stockholm
can
was probably
compare
about
to
the
the
same,
best of
too.
all time.
Navi Stockholm runs pretty.
Stockholm is
The
shaky. It's
fi-
hard to talk about Stockholm because there was a gambit going from online to land. Like, there was a lot of
Like,
conversations
lineup,
going
sure.
on there.
I'm not saying it's
G2 was pretty bad. Nip had LNZ. Like Navi was so far ahead of everyone
Yeah.
else that it was also one of those runs, but in terms of legitness, it wasn't up there with Falcons and Astralis at Face It. So like
problem
I would
is, like,
say
the
it's still
problem is
Cloud9. It's still Cloud9. They were the heavy underdogs, and
yeah,
No.
I just-
in
The
terms
problem
of
is,
surprise-
if you look at
and-
the actual individual games, it's like they're only really a heavy underdog against FaZe. And
Yeah, but
maybe
it's about the
SK
narrative,
really messed
though.
it.
It's like
The
yeah,
narrative, sure, but like Nico winning the fucking hardest major run ever, that's in there.
yeah.
I
I'm
understand Falcons have the money, sure,
talking
but,
about
like,
C9 specifically. I'm not saying comparison between these two runs. I'm saying they're very different kinds.
Sure,
of
but the
runs.
narrative doesn't matter if they beat easier opponents. Like you can't. Whatever. That's by the by. Back to my point, right? And so a good Falcons run, like the run itself was hard, right?
Yes.
And Kerrigan is the greatest
Yeah.
in-game later of all time. He is an absolute miracle worker. He's been 6 major finals with barely any repeat players. My guy's an absolute legend, right? I don't need to describe it, right? This I give like 60% of this credit for just Kerrigan.
You have to give so
give,
much
like-
Kerrigan
Yes.
because we've seen this Falcons team like flounder for so long without like that figure, and as soon as he joins
I
the
give, like,
wins,
over
like
half this to Kerrigan.
you can't not give it to him. I have to I've been hating on Kerrigan for years. Literal year at this point because like his individual performance was so bad on that FaZe team. Like people will try and change history and pretend like the calling on the FaZe team was not bad. It was bad. That team was bad, and
Yes.
Kerrigan was to blame for that
Yes.
team being bad. And he's still the best IG of all time because of what he can do in a situation like this. Like these two things can be
Yes.
true at the same time.
And absolutely congrats, like star players like Kyosuke figured it out.
Yes.
Nico was in the semifinal, did everything he could to drag them across, and he dominated the final. Monty's one of the best players in the world, one of the greatest operas of all time now, further cemented with their major MVP, obviously. And Tessa obviously did his part. He carried a couple maps. Like, they don't even beat Vitality without Tessa. Like, he absolutely, like, saved their ass on the first map against Spirit. They don't win that Noobs game without Tessa. He absolutely was, like, winning duels against Donk. He farmed them. But the problem is, like, there's so many things that had to go right. Not just because we already mentioned the stars.
The stars very much
Donk
aligned.
struggling. Yes, but also, like, this Falcons map pool, I just don't believe it, bro. This Falcons map pool, I just, like, think about it. Switchers, they probably need to win, like, a lot of good opponents. Like, let's look at the maps, the 6 maps Falcons pool, right? Because I know Overpass is out, but let's assume they don't play Cash, right? Because Overpass is the former ban, right?
Yes.
The 6 maps in the pool, do you have confidence in Falcons being good at even half of them?
Well, right. Well,
No,
I assume they will
like-
play Cash, though.
Two things can be true at the same time. This was the first or second most legit major run of all time, and this will not happen again because too many things had to go right.
Yes.
Like-
Okay,
I agree.
Backpackbrain,
This
explain why they will play Cash.
Okay, well, like,
you're
I just
taking
think
too much into account for the map.
If
pool.
Carrigan's in the
And-
team, yeah, go on, Yosh.
Yeah, like the map, like their teams are good in certain maps, but they could also lose on their good maps and win on the bad maps.
Sure, yeah, because the
the
map
map
sides and
pool-
stuff, sure.
Yeah, like
Sure.
like people overestimate how big map pool is a factor.
Vitality shows it is important, but we can know that. But yeah. Generally, I would agree. But the point is, if Falcons will be the best, like okay, I'll give them Dust 2. If you can beat Vitality and Spirit in a row, and then in overtime, but still, and you crush NAVI on it, you certainly could play Dust 2. And you crush G2 on it. These teams can play Dust 2, by the way, guys. These aren't like terrible Dust 2 teams. Like,
Yeah.
you can play it clearly. I'll give them that credit. Yeah, they lost to Monty, but Monty don't mind it. But generally, the record shows they're good on Dust 2. They had 4 on Anubis against the 4 best teams in the world, beyond Falcons, obviously. They're clearly good on Anubis at least, right?
Yes.
Yes, you question, are they better than Aurora long term? Will they play all the time? Will people figure them out? Sure. But let's assume they're good on Anubis, right? Every other map is mad questionable. Like, okay, hey, in the major, they like Nuke, because there'd be like Legacy on it, there'd be like MOUZ on Nuke, they sort of could play it. But that Boombl4 loss where they were 11-4 on T and they didn't win a single T gun round, that does worry me a little bit. And they just didn't play the rest
I
of the
can't have to
tournament.
go now. I can't have to go
Yeah,
now.
okay.
So thanks for the podcast.
Yeah, see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
See ya.
Okay, beyond me, when it comes to nukes, like that Bepum game was mad spooky. Where they were like 11-4 and they just couldn't win a single gun round. That on T side, that did worry me. But
I mean,
let's say
that
they're
was
okay on that.
like
And then like Mirage,
that was also like
Yeah.
one of their first 2 games, and like we've never seen them do anything before, right? So like that's why this is
but
so
but
hard to
they won
discuss.
some nuke games before. They won that epic FURIA overtime in Astana.
Yeah, but that's a
They beat
different
MOUZ
guy.
and
Like we
Legacy
can't. I
CSE.
don't like. Well, we have to talk about Carrigan Falcons and non-Carrigan Falcons separately. That's the only way it makes sense.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But both were with Kerrigan. Remember they played Astana and CSE with Kerrigan.
Oh yeah, they did, but that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Like,
but
Those are
that's
the
a
first 2
weaker
matches.
field, and they didn't even win it.
and they
I
just
think-
showed up as well.
No. But Legacy are like decent on nuke, and like MOUZ could play nuke. Their record's bad, but like they don't mind it, and like they beat FURIA. FURIA does like nuke, by the way. It's like
Yeah,
they at least could play it. Like
So,
the point. But like
in
that
terms of the
game
map pool,
scared.
I think it's Dust 2,
Anubis,
Nuke
and,
maybe,
like-
but probably not, and definitely Cash. Mirage.
That's not enough maps. But then it's like they still have Mirage issues. They
but-
didn't even play much Asia this tournament either. They played once and they barely beat
the
G2,
thing
like-
is, I don't trust Anubis at all. Like Carrigan did this with FaZe at the last major, where all of a sudden for the major they were winning Inferno and Nuke every time, and then once the new
and they
season
couldn't win any
started,
after.
they couldn't win a single game of Inferno or a single game of Nuke. Like, I'll believe it when I see it that
Yeah, same.
that they're still the best Anubis team after the major. So for me, they're
Sure.
a Dust 2 team. They'll definitely be a Cash team. Maybe Mirage, maybe Nuke.
I mean, they've been
and then the
picking
rest
Mirage,
of the
but
pool, I'm not convinced
honestly,
by.
but like Carrigan, this is. I think he'll do the thing that he's sort of dabbled in on and off, which is like the fake 7 map pool, right? Like he doesn't actually have a
Sure.
7 map pool, but he'll play all the maps just to do like veto stuff with it.
Yeah.
Scare opponents.
Because like
The
now,
good
The
thing
problem
they
is,
don't have-
why does he even want to do it though?
because that's what he does.
The good thing is they don't have a permaban anymore.
Yes.
Because the Nico permaban is overpass and that's gone, and they got the Nico map, which is Cash.
Yes.
In.
Sure. But the
So-
problem is, let's say you're playing Vitality, for example, right? In the best of 3, right?
Yes.
You have to ban Inferno immediately, right? Because you're going to lose Inferno, right?
Yeah. Sure.
The problem is then Vitality's going to pick Mirage to you. Like, dude, she's not winning Mirage against Vitality. Like, Mirage is questionable.
I don't trust Vitality's Mirage.
Okay, they don't pick Mirage. Then like Vitality will probably pick like I think Vitality could pick Nuke and win. Vitality Nuke better on Nuke.
Yes.
Yes, Vitality can easily pick Nuke and win.
That's what I mean. So they're still up 1-0 regardless of maps. Like,
yeah, but I'm not saying with the cash entering that it somehow makes them like a lot better. I'm just saying it's like 5% more flexibility in the veto. It just changes it a little bit.
It gives more options.
Like if it's not a nerf, it's a buff. That's as much as I can say to it.
It's a buff, I agree, but they have so many map problems.
Yes, I also do agree that they're not gonna repeat this and they will get worse. Because Kerrigan's whole thing is like he comes in and he's got that stand-in buff. Like that's his whole thing, right? And
I will say that
yes.
I will give them that. If NAVI don't make roster changes, I have Falcons 3 for next season.
That's agreed.
Yeah,
NAVI 4.
That's fair.
Yep.
But that's also because like
another thing is that also makes it kind of fluky. It's not just the map pool, but like
as 3, they can win a tournament or 2 next season.
Yeah, if they
another thing that gives them a chance. Another thing that gives them a chance. They're the one team in the country that's actually favored to be Vitality.
Yes. They have a good matchup into Vitality.
In their corner. They have a big advantage in their corner. I mean, they haven't played best 5 in quite a while, but like wins are wins.
But the biggest thing is the mental. That's the biggest thing. The mental block is kind of gone now. So that's the most scary part about Falcons. Like, the most predictable thing to say is like, at least from my perspective, is that the Kerrigan longevity of this team is unlikely in my opinion, because I don't see them with Kerrigan somehow finding long-term success. Like this to me felt like it's gonna keep going until it fails, and then like the reality will set in. But the problem is if the wins that they've gotten here give them the confidence to like keep going even without that effect, right? If Kyosuke suddenly realizes like he can play well consistently and he doesn't return to some of the issues we've seen before, if MongolZ like plays up to his potential more regularly as a result, and if Nico doesn't like choke as much as he has like in bigger games as a result of the major win itself, not just because Kerrigan's there, like let's say the Kerrigan effect wears off, but the fact that they've won stays with them, right? I feel like especially with the map pool, that ties into the map pool thing. If you're gonna play a very player focused, puggy map pool, you got Catch, you got Mirage, you got Dust too, like even if they're not good on Mirage, if it's a player's map in a lot of ways, right?
Sure.
So that could
Honestly,
help them a lot.
The thing with Kyosuke, just to interrupt, the thing with Kyosuke is, watching him play before, I don't think he's a very smart player.
No,
he's
very sharp. Obviously,
he's very reliant on his mechanics. Selfish, but rightfully so, because he's fucking insane at the game. But I think the thing that fixed Kyosuke is just Kerrigan micromanaging him a little bit, and like being with him in the pack and saying, "Now's the best time to go trade me now." Like making him pick better timings, micromanaging him a little bit, and I think that can continue next year as long as Kerrigan's on the team. So, or like next season. So I expect Kyosuke to still be good at least.
Yeah, the star trio, besides Nico in the semifinal and the final, that's no performance. Nico's not usually that good late in the tournament. Yeah. But barring that, most of the trio 5-5-3 lemma. The problem is they had to get all 3 of the trios to generally turn up, and this test 5-5 is not sustainable. I'm calling it right now. This is using fluke math. I'm sorry.
Let's make a list. Let's make a list of the unsustainable things from this major. Them winning winning every pistol round, and the one they lose, they win the second round. Them winning every forced by possible.
They won They won 3 5s.
Them like Zaibu and Donk not showing up against them. Them winning every single overtime. Tess is overperforming. Nico playing his best games in the semifinal and final instead of the worst games in the semifinal and final. Is that it? Oh, and Anubis. And them all of a sudden being the best Anubis team in the world. That's already 7 things that are not going to be sustainable.
Yes. And before we start to say, in theory, Kerrigan could play better. The problem is, like, even Kerrigan gets like 4 more kills a game, because right now he's averaged like maybe 7 kills a game. Let's say he goes from like 7 to like
12 kills a game. But we're logically gonna take like 5 kills off Tesla's kill board because like Tesla's not gonna drop a 20 like this. He's gonna drop it like 50.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like he's not throwing 20 these 20 bombs, these 23 kill bombs. Those aren't happening. So the problem is I'm taking those 5 off Tesla's scoreboard. I'd rather have them be on Tesla's scoreboard than Kerrigan's. Kerrigan's gonna have like he'll win like an extra round, but those 5 extra kills Tesla will win you 3 rounds. You know what I mean? Because we get an extra entry.
Honestly, I think I think a decent amount of the of the things that aren't gonna be repeated can be like made up for by Kerrigan being a 0.8 instead of a 0.6 player, but not all of it.
Yeah.
That's why I have Falcons first. That's why I have Falcons third for the next season.
Mainly the Tessus and the made to some degree map pool, like those two main things maybe could be made up if a character play a little better. Because in all the games, even in Cooper, they won all of them by the way. They just abused B. The opponent literally just went B every time and they couldn't defend because they couldn't get 0. Because they go 1 for 1 and maybe Tessus would get like a smoke kill, but then lose a 3-on-3 anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Because they'll get the good CT start and then they made 1 gun run after the pistol and the conversion and stuff like that. And then they get like a 4-0 start, and then they may win 1 more round, maybe 2 more rounds. That's why they kept scraping 5 and 6. Because those guys go start in the first half.
Yeah. I think if we're in a good place to round off the Falcons talk and like frame it and then move on to some like light post major stuff. I think like it's in terms of a win, it's like among the best just because of the opposition, but it like a lot of things hinge on and it was Cologne, of course. A lot of things hinge on like what happens next in terms of how it will be framed, right? And I think like for the reasons we've mentioned, that like it's hard to see it be replicated because like this was not a dominant major win by any means. Most dominant game was the final, and that was because like FURIA did not put up much of a fight, right? And
FURIA looked scared.
Exactly, they didn't think they could win.
FURIA just wasn't that good, to be honest.
Yes.
They had an easy...
I mean, it was the best we could have gotten from that side of the bracket, right?
Sure, but also, I think FURIA, bro, you watch the first half Mirage where they had so many 4-on-4s and they had like decent positions, the players just didn't shoot.
They just didn't think they could win.
Yuri was in Palace. Yuri was in Palace one of the early gun rounds, and he had a free kill, and he just let Yukino die in con, and like didn't even get a backstab. It was like literally
that one round of Yuri and Mirage, where bro, you're a player playing in a major final, and you don't know your fucking gun sticking out. Are you being serious right now?
Bro,
do you remember
like
the pressure really
where they double pushed Palace, and he was in that corner where you have to look into the wall, and he didn't look into the wall, and they just killed him.
Yeah, and even that Inferno game, you know why Nico got that timing where like he pushed into apps and fall with the bomb on Banana? Why was falling even in Banana when they took A? Like, why was he in Banana with the bomb? Like,
yeah, I mean, then they were not on the same page for sure in that final. But to finish on the Falcons like point, I think like 2 things. Number one, I think it will at least be an interesting next season with these 3, like the Vitality, Spirit, Falcons, like triumvirate. We've all got interesting questions that will need to be answered in this season. And I think like for once, there's like a chance for some like a lot of back and forth, which I think will be at least exciting.
Yes.
And another thing that I think like I haven't seen anyone mention this with this like specific point is that Zonic is sort of teasing this idea that he's succumbing to burnout and I have to take a break or whatever, this and that. And I think like with this seems to me to be setting up nicely for an eventual like Zonic retirement, Kerrigan coach, Nico IGL situation. Like it just seems like that.
I don't want Nico at IGL, but that's a separate discussion. We'll get to in 6 months from now.
It's gonna happen at some point.
We'll get to that in 6 months from now. On the topic of Zonic, this might be evil, but I give Zonic practically 0 credit.
I mean,
I give him like 10% credit.
Because he had the same players for a year and a half, didn't win jack shit, and then his firepower got downgraded. They completely changed how they play. Like they went from playing Zonic CS with the fucking shit snappy lineup to playing Nico CS on the Nico lineups to playing Kerrigan CS, and the Kerrigan CS wins within 60 days. Like, you can tell when watching the game whose brand of CS they're playing. And like this was
Yes.
so clearly Karrigan's CS. I give Zonic almost no credit for this major and still think that in CS2 he's a fraud.
Well,
like,
I'll
despite
give
him winning this
I'll give
major.
Zonic one
You know
piece of
it's a
credit.
bit-
The one piece of credit I will give is that he clearly just shut the fuck up and listened for whatever
Yeah.
time it took on this
Sure.
major.
He took the back
He
seat,
did
yeah,
not
yeah.
like try and because like there's a lot of voices in like between Nico and Karrigan, you could easily also like I'm sure Zonic has obviously tried to do a lot of input, but for once he was just like, okay, clearly it's not working. So like but that also does mean like what's he gonna do in the future? What's his job security like? Like we got
Sure.
that kind
You
of
know what's
question
funny?
sort of
This-
brewing, but
Zonic had never. You know what's funny? Is Zonic never won Cologne before this. That's actually the funny
Yeah.
part.
hey, the former Astralis members
It's
winning
another one off
Cologne.
his bucket list.
Karrigan also.
That's the one tournament
technically
he
a
never won. He
former
won
Astralis
everything
member.
else except Cologne.
Yeah.
Device
Yeah,
running away in tier 3.
I'll say that's the one thing with Zonic potentially maybe retiring. That could make Falcons even better. Like, I'm not convinced about the Nico IGL Karrigan coach move, but if it's just a coach change and they get a better coach, then that could also make Falcons even better. So they're
Yeah, I agree.
also, if they get someone instead of Tessus who's better at the specific
What's
roles
Roban
Tessus does
doing?
eventually, like there's still ways for this Falcons team to get even better, to like to make them like legit the best team and not just have this one legit tournament run and then probably regress back to the norm after this major. We'll see.
Yeah, that's all.
I think that's enough for the Falcons talk, right?
Yeah, I think that wraps
Yeah,
up
I think
the major recap. Do you wanted a little bit of a talk on like
Yeah, I got like
roster
one or
rumblings,
two
right? You
points.
had a few points, I remember.
The biggest loser is G2. I don't know why they got rid of him.
Yeah. Like
I'm so confused.
G2 stocks are going down. We can just quickly go over
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
right?
So you can just quickly.
Heroic ended up with a way better roster than I thought they would. We already kind of touched on that as well.
Yep. But like, bro, I don't know why. If the only logic I could get is maybe thinking, oh, Nerds is too passive. MOUZ is a more aggressive player than Nerds. We need more entry power, and Wrinkle is better on rifles. And Surprise was literally JDM on a fucking rifle, bro. He couldn't kill people with rifles, bro. He literally had to have an op or like a pistol, or he couldn't kill people. And Wrinkle can rifle decently. He's better rifle, and he does go from aggro. The problem is, Surprise did like do a lot of like proper calling with Hunter, and he did throw flashes. And so who's gonna throw the flashes? Is Hunter gonna start throwing flashes? My fucking dick. My guy's never thrown flashes. Bro.
Yeah,
we
he's
talking
too
about?
selfish for that.
100%.
Is Matt's gonna start throwing flashes, bro?
So if we quickly
Yeah,
go
yeah.
along, like MOUZ don't have a fifth yet as far as I know, so we don't need to talk about them.
Aurora move is amazing, by the way. I love the Aurora move.
Aurora, I love Aurora. Aurora
really?
is great.
I don't think Jimmy
Yes.
is.
No.
I don't think Jimmy is that good anymore.
No,
Nah. You actually back up all about it. No, can you understand, right? Spinks absolutely cooked this nigga Yimfat, bro. Yimfat lost all of his cool positions. He didn't get to play late lurks anymore. He's forced to go for more aggro plays. Yimfat was literally out of position during his stint in Spinks. With
I
Spinks,
agree.
right?
But is this the environment that's going to revitalize him? I don't know if it
Yes.
is.
First off, one, Aurora like to play aggressive. Aurora players like pushing. They like to play more like in your face, which means Yimfat can play more passive now. Yimfat can literally play late rounds. He can make his own decisions. He can play 1-on-2s now instead of forced to play mid rounds now. Like he gets you. And on top of that, it's not like SoFly the world beater. SoFly was okay. He was not that crazy. And on top of that,
SoFly was
22,
serviceable.
Yeah, he was
and
fine.
also
That's it.
SoFly was playing out of position. He's usually like a playmaker star player, and he played like basically gym fat spots, and he did surprisingly well for how completely out of position he was.
He is in that position. Yeah.
Okay, I think I
And on top of
I
that,
can
another
see
thing
it if he
important
gets
is
more
SoFly's
focus on the
22
team.
and Yimfat's 19. So we are getting a 3 years younger player too.
I mean, that we're splitting here. I don't think that's not the difference maker, but
Sure, but the point is like Yimfat is
So,
back in his positions,
Or
and like
Aurora
Yimfat's ceiling is
just
high.
1-for-1 upgraded in the IGL position.
Yes.
1-for-1 upgraded in the anchor position, and 1-for-1 upgraded in the coach position. And I don't believe
I forgot that Ash joined. That
none
actually
of,
that changes my.
that none of that
Yes.
I
Wait, no,
don't
but
believe that none of these players can speak English.
No,
like
I
those
forgot. I
Turkish
forgot that
players.
Ash joined. I rescind. I think Ash can fix Jimpat. Yes.
Yes.
No, Morizon, hold on. First off, because I think Kicks is better than Magic. That's actually a hot take. A lot of people think Magic was like, oh, he's not that bad. He's actually kind of physical. That's actually a hot take to some degree.
On the masses, yes. I think most people don't rate Kickstone that highly, but definitely don't rate Major that highly either. So I think it's like
To me, this is like a wash to say either of them is that much better or worse. I think Kickstone makes more sense. Really, like the first one, the age of this team was really old because like you have Woxic and Zentars are pretty old players. So having a much younger IGL and a younger anchor does help the average age a bit more. So you can justify Zentars being 31 in your star entry a bit more because you have he has more experience. He's played a long time. He's played lands and stuff like that, etc. Right. And second thing is, I don't think even Ash is that good of a coach. Like I just don't know what Faber did. Like there's no one totally favors like some great.
Well, I think
like
that. Ash's best strength to me seems to like his glaring flaw was Opus, and Woxic's already in this team. You don't really need to do any work with Woxic.
Yeah.
I think like he knows how he wants to play.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think properly struck like what Ash will do in this team and why because I forgot that flips my like take entirely is because Ash's whole thing was like making sure the riflers are like appropriately structured in the rounds, right? When you think about like what he did best in those Gamer Legion teams is like he brought up these riflers and made them like do more than what you thought they would do.
He literally saved Rez's career.
Yes, exactly, right? And so that's why I feel like it will just make more sense now that like how to open rounds and how to close rounds, because with you got Zantaros, Wakadia, and Jimmy, I think you can very easily like construct game plans and put the players in the right spots here. I think he can do it. So with that in mind, I don't know how much better they can be, because this does make them better, but like they're still sort of
they're
like
so far behind the top 5.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so much ground to cover, and I don't know if this would be enough, but they should at least prevent them from like
they
falling
might be
out.
one move away.
Yeah, because like they were.
We will see.
They were at danger of just collapsing before, so.
Yeah,
one thing I will say,
I'm super high on these moves. And on the kickstand, one thing I wanted to say on the kickstand versus Major convo is that comparing Heroic and Falcons, I don't think Falcons played kickstand CS.
No,
I think Falcons played Nico CS. And
I told people this already.
Yeah.
And that's why I think him failing with Falcons doesn't prevent him from being successful with this Aurora team. So I think this will just be an upgrade.
I have to keep telling people that Alexi played with Nico and did nothing with Nico, and Alexi won a major. So like you literally, bro. Nico is literally anti-IGL. Come on. Yes. Nico only has won a majority of his tournaments with Hooksy. No one calls Hooksy one of the best IGLs in the world, right? People think he's all right, but he's not from the top IGL. Snacks, no one in the top IGL, and Kerrigan. Okay, who like literally can win tournaments despite not having like Kerrigan can win with a lot of players, right? He's like a
he's the manager, right?
And clearly, Nico specifically for Kerrigan coming in, shut up for a second.
He had to take an ego hit.
You can tell they played completely different than any Nico team in the past. Like Nico just was like, okay, Kerrigan's coming in. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
And not just that, also. Funnily enough, Nico did better with Nexus and IGL than Alexi. and Nexus didn't even have an opera, by the way. So it tells me that Nico wants a puggier caller. Because Nexus is a mad, like, loose caller, right? So he doesn't want, like, a super structured, like, tactical IGL. I'm not saying Kickstone calls, like, Alexi, because Alexi very much loves to micromanage. Relative to the top IGLs, obviously. I'm not saying he's doing every team, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, an OG's obviously going to micromanage, like,
much more structured.
This is not a star player. Yeah, relative to other IGLs, but Kickstone can have a structure. I saw him in Heroic. Heroic had structured rounds. They still play default, but they're like actual like set rounds. They're very mobile on CG side, stuff like that, right? The one worry I do have is some people are making a concern like why kick so far with Woxic's not the best op, right?
He's
look
okay.
At the op market. He's okay, and like
Woxic
the op market
is another
is
JDM man. Like Woxic's ops okay, he just can't rifle.
He can kind of pistol.
If the op market was better.
He's okay with pistol. The P50 kind of killed him,
Yeah.
but the point is like because the op-arc's so bad, you actually just can't replace walk stick.
Yeah,
because
I
all
mean-
the op-ers on the walk stick.
No,
are
but
there
you
too,
can't
so
you
just
can't replace
them.
Voxer because then your headquarters will be overrun by people of Turkey. Like,
And not just that, if you want to keep still flying, just get rid of Xantares. Xantares had a bad year relative to Xantares. Obviously, he's been bad, but he's
they'll
not
never
the best
get rid of
player anymore.
Xantares unless Xantares steps down or he gets injured.
Yeah, but
This
the key thing
is-
is Xantares' bad season. Oh, he still has a 1.07. That's a bad season, by the way.
What?
Relative to the fact that he used to be like overpowered entry. Like
Like
that's a bad.
the other thing is Aurora in the past seasons was always a firepower first team.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
their calling never looked that good. If they use the same pieces that have high firepower with like a better structure, maybe they do just play better as well. We will
Yes.
see if we even have to
Sure.
make roster moves after this.
Well, if you remember back,
Like-
if you're looking all the way back to like Big Xantares and how that team was able to utilize him like still effectively, I
Yeah.
think you could bring some of that like energy back, where Xantares still can
My
have
only
output in a
worry
structured
about
team.
like is Big Clan very much did a lot of like set rounds. They weren't playing that default. Kickson you still play a little default with Kickson.
Yeah, but that's
he
fine.
still plays like a
I
maybe
mean, you
like,
got Wicardia. I'm sure Wicardia needs to pick it up a little bit, but I think he can.
sure. Another issue
Yes,
is like
just
I
stick,
don't,
by the way, 0 notes on him.
yeah. Yeah, he's actually just top 20 player now. He's actually the best player now. The problem with Aurora and the actual give Magic credit this year, Magic actually called it a decent season. He actually called some
Yeah.
decent tournaments. Like, we're like, yeah, he called some couple good. He wasn't completely complicated, but he actually started throwing some fakes every once in a while. He did like just enough, kind of varied up. The problem is they generally still rely on the death ball 4-1 style. And the thing is, I remember watching them with the old draw lap near the end when they tried some turns. Like, remember with Thunderpeck, they tried to play a bit more default and they just couldn't do it. Like, they tried to play some slow rounds and they literally just failed every time. Like,
Yeah.
every time I watched the Aurora team try to play a true, like, 1-by-1 proper default, they couldn't do it. Because, like, the Tars would peek too early and just give up a free pick to an op, or Wakati would, like, be way too late and just have to save, or, like, Jodo would go for, like, an ego peek, you can't win. You know what I mean? Like, they would try to do it and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm now wondering if Kickson tries to call a default game, like, say, like, a standard default, but it's, like, maybe it's a set round from a default, like, say, Snappy style, for example, then, like, a really loose Kerrigan default. Then I don't know if they actually can respond to it. You know what I mean? I don't know if Xantares will just go for the same mistakes. 'Cause Xantares
I think
only has
he'll
some mistakes with death
be
ball.
able to keep around on Xantares. I don't think Xantares could, like, given how
So I've seen
many
interviews,
people he's played
I've
under, I
seen
think
that.
he'll be fine.
And I've heard interviews that Matt just kind of insinuated that like he has to call the death ball to some degree style, like because the players just don't know how to play default. But it's like if you've seen the previous rosters, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if he can actually
But like
convince them.
Ash has
we
played
could play
these
a proper
games
run-of-the-clock round.
before. Ash has wrangled
They-
players, so like
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Like the reason they played so much death ball is that they never really had a competent lurker. And look who
Sure.
else joined
Yeah,
the fucking team.
because they got them Calyx before, and they had Jodo who was a star, force being the lurker, and then they had Soulfly who was like a star, trying force be a lurker.
Now
like,
they have
yeah,
a
you're
real
right.
lurker. Now and a real IGL. Like this just
Yeah.
fixes so much stuff with their structure. I just think these
Yeah.
changes are just all great. Like you replaced exactly the two players that Turkey doesn't have with international pieces. Like Turkey doesn't have a good lurker. Turkey doesn't have a good IGL. Except like Major had, to give him credit, a decent last season as a caller, but in general has not been that good of an IGL. Like
And also,
those are,
Madrid isn't even Turkish. Madrid isn't even
well,
Turkish.
he's like
Turkish,
half,
right?
right?
Yeah,
he
he-
struggles.
yeah, he-
we know he does struggle.
he
Yeah.
struggled with the Turkish language anyways. Like you got exactly the right two international pieces. I think this team is gonna
Yeah,
be way better.
yeah.
As you said,
Yeah.
hard to know how much they'll fly up the ranking because of that, but they'll look way better and give the favorites way
Yeah,
better.
they should make him
games.
more stable in any case.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've touched on most things. There was only a few sort of tertiary points. I mean, we don't know anything
The
about
one more
Liquid.
thing I want to talk about
Yeah,
to
go
wrap
on.
this up, unless you have anything else you want to cover.
Yeah,
The one last one I was going to say maybe J Bowen we could talk about for a little bit.
I was
Other
gonna
than that, I
talk
think
about
I'm good.
yes, I was going to talk about was it FaZe, right? So
Yeah.
just like a quick second on Liquid. I don't think Liquid deserve more than a second of our time. Who they were gonna get
I like the JT move.
the JT,
Sure, it
he's
was
gonna
absolute,
have his work
like-
cut out for him to fix this, but he can do
Sure,
it. He's
But like
he's got the
Shuhei
brain.
was an absolute like I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Shuhei was a goddamn terrorist. I don't know why he was on that goddamn team at the end.
Pull
He
up the
was
Polo
literally just
tweet.
throwing for
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we don't explain that. Ultimate is just a goober who's blind and just whiffs
Well,
shots.
are they even
like,
replacing
Joko's
Ultimate?
not that good.
I don't think they are replacing Ultimate, are they?
I'm pretty sure the rumors of the game Joko. Should have played
Is
the
that-
Bro, and NRG's about to bench OC. Liquid, you know what to do.
Yep.
No,
that'll
no,
do it.
bullets in your back. No,
That'll do it.
you found the one offer who's worse than Ultimate, bro.
No, he's not worse than Ultimate. He's
Bro,
You
OC's dropping
would be-
IGL numbers, bro.
I know he would still be an upgrade, and like you
Would
keep
he?
the
No.
and you keep the full NA identity. Like
Yes.
at least
It's
you have
fine.
the NA identity.
I would rather have Junior than OC.
Wait, is
wouldn't
Junior,
talk about it.
even playing?
Yeah, he's playing like some
Voka.
weird like I think
He's playing
Voka or
on
some shit, like,
Semphis team. If that is Semphis' team.
yeah, he's playing some like
Anyway,
stuff
enough
team,
about
and, like
that.
he's farming bad teams. But the point
Yeah.
is, I still think Junior's skill ceiling is higher than OC. But whatever.
Yeah,
Sure.
The phase move, the thing is,
I don't care enough.
Yeah, we can park that conversation. Liquid isn't worth much more of our time,
the
right?
pre-flop on
Liquid isn't worth
J-Bone is
talking about.
even when they made this move at the time. I talked to Bob about this. We both agreed FaZe needed to gamble on players because the problem is all the players that are like, oh, the players you want to get are on teams that are too good. For example, right? Everyone's like, oh, why does FaZe get NQZ? MLB has a better team than FaZe. Why would NQZ go to FaZe? Like, and also he goes to a Brazilian team who gets to speak Brazilian, right? Or at least Portuguese. Sorry.
Yeah, BRPT.
Right, so it makes sense for him to play there, right? Literally, oh, FaZe example, why don't they get Try? Try's going to Legacy. Legacy's a much better team than FaZe Clan, and he gets to speak Naruto, right? So why would he go to FaZe Clan? The problem is like there's literally all the top offers you want to get. Like why would Walk should go to leave Aurora? Aurora has better players. They have a better coach. They have a better.
I also,
no,
by
they
the
have
way,
better
think
players.
Try is massively overrated, but that's beside the point.
No, but he's better than Brokey though. That's the point.
Yeah, still better than Brokey. Everybody's better than Brokey.
Yeah. To some degree, sure. But the problem is all the offers you think are like really famous, like good offers, they're on better teams. Like oh
Yeah,
like,
no, I think
like,
that
there's
I don't
literally-
think there's anything negative to talk about with the Jabone move at all. Like, what else?
Yeah.
No,
like,
but people were doubting it. People were
Jabone-
well,
doubting the
yeah, of
Jabone
course
move
people were
at the time.
doubting him. He
it.
came from big academy.
Bro, you're
People aren't,
preaching
like,
to the choir here. As a big fan, I watched a couple games of Big Academy, and J-Bone also stood in for Big a couple times. I've been rating this guy even before he joined FaZe.
Bro, anyone who watched
This-
a demo of his know he was better than he was a
Yeah.
clear upgrade. Like what are you like? I agree.
This-
He's played better than I
this guy's
expected.
sick.
people
Yeah,
just see
same.
Big
NA
Academy and
competition.
doubt it. That's all.
Yeah.
No, but like if you watch a demo, it's like it's not like he wasn't even playing like a fluke like flicky style. He was just playing like good, slightly hard shots. Like you see when this XC event, he's going for like
Bro,
slightly difficult shots, but like
there's a
doable shots.
reason. There's a reason the big CGO went on a podcast and say, unless we get literally an offer that's impossible to refuse, we will not sell Jay Bowen. But we think he's too good for our academy team, and we want to loan him out because they see this as the perfect opportunity to increase Jay Bowen's
get his
stock,
experience
like
as well.
massively, which will happen, and then Big will either make bank from him
Yeah, or promote
or
him.
replace Grix if
Exactly.
Grix doesn't pick it up. Like,
He's
it's
just a-
crazy that we went from having Hype and Searson to having actual two
Yeah,
good
all it took
offers
was to leave
signed to our
Germany.
org. It's crazy.
All it took was to go international, and you have good offers. But I
And
think,
also people telling me, oh, FaZe should have gone for more moves. I agree they should have got rid of Jacob. Nichu was actually okay.
but like FaZe is
I
not in a
don't think
position
Nichu's
to
bad.
make bargains. Like, I don't think anyone. People
That's what
are
I mean.
just
Yeah,
talking
So when
as
you go
if.
for the Jay Bowen situation,
Yeah, FaZe does need to kick Jacob today. Like right when this XPL Pro League thing ends, they need to
But who
kick
do they?
Jacob
I don't.
and just
Are FaZe in
gamble
a
on another
position
young
to
player.
bargain? That's what I'm wondering. Like, FaZe's position to bargain hinges entirely on Twist and Frozen. Like, not even Twists really.
Staying.
Frozen staying, right? Twist's like maybe, or I don't even know. Are they gonna? Is it? It seems to me that Twist is just committing to IGL now, and they're not gonna get an IGL. That Twist is like, okay, well, it's
That's
this is
sad.
the way that we're gonna live now.
That does make the replacement for Jacob easier.
Yes,
Just
of course.
get any rifler that's not completely awful.
But
no, because the problem then is that you now have to twist IGL League.
yes, so
Yeah, but if you, it depends on what your standards are, right?
Your
If you just
standards
wanna
are you
make
want to make the
FaZe-
major. That's what the standards are.
Give FaZe, yeah, make the major again, get them back into invite range. I think FaZe can be borderline top 10 if you just
Oh,
get
whoa,
a
hold on.
competent rifler instead of Jacob.
Twist,
But if you want
twist
to,
calling is
but
just
if
not
you
good
make them,
though.
Do you? Do you get to top 10?
no, not quite top 10, but like in the same range
Top
as
15 to 15, sure.
in the same space as heroic.
I think
and,
they're
like,
worse than heroic.
The the
No,
like
no.
figurative ceiling for big, like in that same range.
It was actually just that godlike.
Frozen is good.
Yeah.
Frozen is
Like,
great.
Frozen and Twist
That's what I
just
mean.
firepower wise can get them into that range, and I think that's where they want to go back to now. Like that is at the moment their
Yeah.
target, and then they'll make moves to get back to being competitive. Because at the moment, no player that's actually gonna make them competitive will join them, so they have to get into invite range first.
I guess that's true.
Maybe Lonks.
I was gonna
Lonks
say
isn't a bad
Lonks-
rifle, but the problem is
Lonks with a
Lonks could be
doctor's
like an
visit.
entry kinda like.
I mean, if Lonks says yes, then you
Well,
fucking bite their hand off, right?
Where else is he
But-
gonna go?
Lonks isn't if you shop window, for example. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
options. It's like near the end of the season. So.
Bro, if minus Jacob plus Lonks happens, like they're
Well, don't they still
immediately
need
in the
a
top
don't they
12
still need a
again.
fifth? Isn't Nature not with them actually? Just sort of
He
chilling
can
there right now.
stand in, but also I think they could probably because remember Nitsu is free agent entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get like
Like,
slim pickings.
They
you keep it, I
can
guess.
just use him for now, and I don't mind it. He's okay as
Yeah,
as a transitional
but
player.
I think this is FaZe's future. Frozen stays to get them into the major, and then hopefully for him and for the team that he just leaves somewhere.
Hopefully, he goes to NAVI next year.
Because it seems like he's not going anywhere this season. There's no rumors at all.
Yeah,
Like unless
unfortunately.
something changes, and I feel like it would have changed already. But maybe it's because
Yeah.
they're still playing, right? It might happen after that. Maybe they're waiting until this end of this, and he's just getting the VRS points. Maybe that's what's going on. But
The messaging from Frozen has been that he's unfortunately staying.
yeah,
which
at least for this
is
season,
why
we don't
they
know
need to get
anything
better
beyond that.
ASAP.
Yeah,
we
but
need to sing in the arms of an angel.
yeah. I think we'll leave FaZe there. I think the best FaZe can hope for is to make the next major. That's the best case scenario.
Yep, agree.
End of that. The
I
final
think we're
conversation
good.
point. I just want to mention their name. I just want to mention BC Game. I just want to mention them. I don't know what we're gonna. I don't know what to say.
Not a fifth yet, so I will refuse to comment.
What do you mean, bro?
But
Mzinho.
looks sort of better.
Okay,
If it's
before
actually
we do
Mzinho, then it looks more competitive than before. But as long as there is no fifth, I'm not gonna jump to any conclusions.
All right, Bola.
Here,
What are your thoughts?
Let's do the current four. If we're doing the current four, like Magix can actually IGL. I actually
He can.
that-
The problem
like, I
was
don't
last
think
time he
it's
did that, his
egregious.
numbers suffered.
Okay, but the problem is his numbers are already butt cheeks. Who cares?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Now Electronic has
Yeah.
no excuse to be this bad. Electronic sucks after this move. He just gets immediately. We need to figure out what the issue was. We know Simple's hit some kills on the board. Senzo is a decent enough player. He showed in passion that he at least had the mechanics to be good. If he's
On this
gonna be a
team, he's
little up
pretty
and down.
good.
This team is okay. The problem here is, like, Electronic has to fry because I'm not expecting magixx to. I'm expecting Magus to really like be going crazy like that. And the second problem is, let's say in this case Xenos is the fifth, for example, which would make sense to some people when it comes to the roles. I still don't think you have that much firepower. 'Cause
No,
Xeno
between
is almost a
Electronic
good
and
player.
Magix is like such a pit of firepower. Like right now, at least, you have to make up for so much.
Xeno's an above average anchor that like Xeno's like for example you have a player who puts you over the top, but he doesn't like win the game. He puts you over the
Yeah,
top.
he's
wins
an
you a
X
couple
Factor
extra
player.
rounds.
That's what he is.
Yeah, that's what he is. Because he'll win you a couple extra rounds and we'll get like a 3K on a bomb site, but he doesn't win
They
the
still
game.
have Senzu, no?
Yeah,
Like,
with
between
Simple and Senzu, you shouldn't need a third star.
That's
This-
good, but
the-
like you understand.
But
you
that
understand.
team, that's already like a Frozen Twist situation. That should be enough
No, but the difference is
to at least
Yeah, go on.
get them into the major and maybe like stage 2.
Stage 2 would reach, but the problem is even in the stage 2 teams, every team is 3 stars now. 3 stars is actually kind of like the standard now at this point. Like The only team that's like really competitive with 2 stars is Spirit. That's because they have like 2
Mazinho.
I think
top 5.
Mzinho is good
But
enough.
for like stage 2 teams, Mazinho more than counts as a star.
Yeah,
then they
that's
have
fine.
Simple, Senzu, and Mazinho.
I think this raises, if
That's
Mzinho
good.
does join in the
But also-
hypothetical, it raises their like floor and their firepower floor especially, that will allow them to at least
You
like
also understand
dumpster
that both
teams that
Magixx
should be below them easy.
and the Electronic are not going to be shooting that much.
Yes,
Like,
no-
Magixx is going to drop borderline hooks.
I think-
Yeah, but still, like for where they are now, and like if all of these moves like go through, then firepower is gonna be not an issue at all. It's like the least of the issues.
some degree, sure.
Yeah.
Like firepower will be an issue. Will at the earliest become an issue once they get to like stage 2 of a major, if not stage 3. And I think they will lose before firepower becomes an
Yeah.
issue, hypothetically.
In theory, yes.
I think if
also
that's what the move is, then all eyes are on Electronic and Magixx. That's about it, in my opinion. Because I don't have any problem really. Like Simple, Senzu, and Zinyo are all like, they're not gonna do like worse than what you expect. I think like they're doing their jobs.
As long as Simple locks in, that is, which I think he will. But
It seems like Simple
there's
and
still
Senzu
always
get
the
along.
concern.
Like weirdly, it just seems like Simple and Senzu don't actually conflict with each
I'm
other.
not worried about Simple fragging. Like Simple fragging has not been an issue at all.
Yeah, he's
this year.
fine.
Even with them losing so many goddamn games, he's been fragging fine enough for like.
Yeah, but
Because these gamers-
the problem is he's been like viciously baiting and not really practicing properly.
That's true.
Which I think will fix itself once he gets like a real lineup. But that is at least a thing you have to mention.
Yeah, it's true. It's in the air whether
technically a
that like
concern.
changes. Yeah. All right, I think
Sure.
that sets us up pretty well for the end event. We have any final thoughts? Any final points? I think
No,
you
I'm
mentioned.
good, bro. I actually liked most. Besides G2, I actually liked most of Rostermania, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm positively surprised for the first time since CS2 came out by a Rostermania. Like
No, I liked most of Rostermania.
most of
after
the
Shanghai.
moves make sense.
Well, I think
I had a
we
couple,
started
but-
to have some realization that you can't just
There's some sleeper Rostermanias, yeah.
dump
My only
these.
other thing I want to mention
Yes,
is I actually like this legacy try move. That's like one last thing I will say.
is try real, man? I've been
Oh,
hearing about
I
try
know,
for
I-
years, and
Oh wait, I forgot to mention this. Like I have to flame the fuck out of the legacy management. What the fuck is minus Nissim plus Nissim? What the
I
fuck
saw
is the
that.
point of
That was
that?
so funny. They apparently they didn't miss him too much. Like,
Fuck's sake.
yeah, cause no. Okay, to be fair, Nissim wanted to leave the first time. He wanted offers. He didn't get an offer, and he came back.
Yeah, but still, like,
That was the reason. You
the,
got three
Come
reasons.
on.
I love the
Nissim left on
headline.
his own accord. He wanted to
The
be benched.
subtitle of the HOTV page is "The player decided to return to the lineup after asking to be benched." It's so good. Like what is
it's
that?
like he did that meme. Like Nissim made that meme. Who want me? And then it's no 100%.
Yeah,
so
he refreshed
went
his
back to
email for a
Legacy.
week and was like, "Wait, no one really cares." He's like, "Well,
Dude,
fine."
do you guys know that
That's
meme
funny.
with the who
Yes,
want
exactly.
me no
Yeah,
100%? Yeah.
yeah.
That's basically
Another one is like,
Nissim's
you know that joke about like,
Rostermania.
oh, he's trying to, no, you know it's a joke. It's like you know that joke about like, yeah, I'm trying to find someone to love you, and the mom comes up, yo, why can't you find a girlfriend? And then someone else said, oh, he's bisexual. It's like, damn, no one wants you. Like,
Yeah, I mean, listen. Sometimes,
So-
but that's also. Does it really make a difference? Like with Try on that team, that was the original like conversation. Does it really like shift the conversation at all about that team?
no, because Sadz was one of the worst offers in the top 30, bro. He was not that good.
Yeah, but I feel like Try was like he's shown, but I feel like Try's problem was not that he can't do like the actual AWPing job. It seemed to me like he had like choking problems and consistency problems, but like he had a lot of potential.
No, he is just not very smart and like makes plays that only work against bad teams.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what it is. Yeah,
He's
Like a noob stomper
consistently
type
fallen
player.
off as soon as he played real
yeah,
teams.
that's
so
what I
I'm
was. Yeah.
if it's not if it is really just Sadzen for Try, I think it will not make them a lot better.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hot take. It
I
will
think
be
they
like
do
a
it better,
side
though,
grade.
because the problem with Especially, I think it would have been better if they got the minutes to get Thomas in or Insani, but they both kind of fell through, it seemed. That's why they kept missing. Is because it doesn't force Lotto to have to be like it doesn't force Dumao to be like a god like entry who has to get the first pick every time. Because the major, the reason why they didn't just lose every game is that Dumao and Lotto played out of their goddamn minds just to go 1-3 in that stage 3. They literally were just shooting everyone in front of their face. Like, watch that Paravision Dust 2 game. Dumao and Lotto are like the two best players in the server. It's like not close, and they won that game in like overtime. It was crazy. Dumao and Lotto had to do so much work to stay in that game.
That will not change if minus sets and plus try is the only change.
No, because try is gonna get like a couple extra kills. Like at least be better on team.
Not in tier 1 events. No, I don't believe it.
But the problem is Sadzin was so bad at tier 1 that I don't think try is worse than Sadzin at least. And I need to at least a 5% upgrade at least. Even if it doesn't like fundamentally make them change the style.
Yeah.
Like, do you think try is equally bad as Sadzin? That's my question.
No, he's probably a little better.
Try,
I mean, like,
in pure firepower, try is a little bit better, but in terms of like, in terms of other things outside of pure firepower with the op, I think that might balance it out. I think overall it's just a side grade. I don't think it will make them any better.
Okay, but do you think try makes more mistakes than Sadzin?
Yeah, I don't think he is as good in terms of supporting, right? Like it's sort of it's sort of like some Pius versus Wrinkle for me.
That's fair.
Except some Pius is like better than Sadzin, of course, right?
Well,
I'll
give him that.
But in principle, I think this is like a Wrinkle for some Pius type of situation.
Yeah.
Do you think the team still fundamentally plays similar? Sure.
I mean, yeah, I think, but I don't think MOUZ need it. Anyway, I think that should wrap it up unless we have any final points. Yeah. I think the only point I remember is
follow me on Medium at
Baller. That's true. I have it in the description of the previous one, so I could actually just paste it again.
I just uploaded an article about the 10 best teams of the year so far.
You must have been really scratching your head getting to the bottom of that number, man. Like number 10, number 9.
I have a Google Drive link I can send you with all the direct head-to-heads this year. It's not fully complete, but it's like 90% complete. Actually, you want to see some of the numbers?
Yeah.
You
can post it.
Google.
But anyway,
I probably will just send it to you later. And also, my two account's inactive right now, but if I upload again, I might send you the link and like get it in the description as well. I want to start uploading.
Yeah. Well, if you say even if you do it later.
Let's wrap up the app first. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways. Thank you all for watching. I don't know if no one's gonna make it to the end of this 3-hour long YouTube video. But if you do, then if you don't subscribe after making it 3 hours into a video, then I question your intellectual decision making. Anyway, on to next time. Enjoy.